Hello?
Hello. Hey, Jessica.
Hey. Hi.
This is Jessica the Munchdown. Legendary
That's
Spire Slayer.
that is in fact me. You got that right.
And she's on the phone with us to play some Watcher for the first time ever.
Yeah, when I went to pitch this idea to you, I thought of having it be a donation incentive entitled Teach a Trans Person How to Play the Watcher, because while I've played this game quite a bit in my time and also am transgender, I know absolutely nothing about this character. So I am completely clueless about what to expect.
I also have no idea how to play the Watcher, in fairness, so
Oh,
I
perfect.
think this is more a learn the Watcher together moment.
Perfect.
If people think that this should have been a donation incentive and that I should have made everybody raise a certain amount of money before this happened, you can just donate that much money. I'm cool with that. I enjoy hanging out with Jessica, so we're just gonna do it for free. For free?
Perfect.
Oh, I am like pretty like stretchy and needing watery and stuff, so I'm gonna take a little break. You can chat with people if you'd like, or I can just put on highlights. Which would you prefer?
No, I'll chat with people. That sounds like a good time.
All right.
I think I'll let you go get your break. I was gonna share a little background lore that I thought was entertaining, but you already know this lore because it's your life, so you know, whatever. But the first time that I really came to like really know Jorbs was, I guess, over a year ago now, I think, or maybe about a year ago, when he invited me to be part of a series of charity streams back when I was also a streamer. I guess I technically am still a streamer. That doesn't really stop happening just because I've mostly stopped streaming. But he invited me to be on his stream, do a bunch of charity stuff, and I was pretty anxious about it because at that point I was like roughly probably like a month or 2 months into transitioning. And so while I had my stream that was, you know, not quite as large as Steve's and was all people who, you know, knew me and knew what the deal was with me, I was pretty concerned about the idea of going on to a comparatively much larger platform and being seen as I looked and sounded at that time. And I didn't even really know Steve all that well at that point. And so when he was, you know, inviting me, I was kind of like, well, you know, I'm a little nervous about this. And he was just absolutely incredible about like, okay, what can we do to make this a good experience? And we're going to have mods, you know, lined up with the sharpest swords on all of Twitch, you know, ready to stop any troublemakers. And it was just a fantastic experience. I had a wonderful time. I've gotten to collaborate a couple of different times now on different charity events. And yeah, when I saw that Steve was doing one specifically for a trans charity, I had to get in on it, and so I just invited myself on, I guess.
Glad to have you here. I'm gonna stretch my legs for a sec. You can chat with chat.
Sure, yeah, what's new? There's so much. I realize I've missed the birth of this Paj meme, which seems like one of the most promising I've seen in a long time. So I gotta get in. I felt pretty good. I can see why y'all like this meme. It's a pretty good meme. So don't donate, but don't donate to criminalize it, okay? Because that was my first Paj ever. I don't want to be, you know, in trouble for doing that in the future. Although I guess you can do whatever you want with your extremely generous donations to charity. But yeah, I'm also happy, you know, while Steve is off feeding himself or doing what one does during a break, happy to entertain any questions. And also, since this is a trans charity and I'm a trans person, I'm happy to field questions that folks might have, assuming they're respectful, as of course they will be. When I'm not streaming, what do I do with my time? Yeah, that's a decent question. So I stopped streaming like maybe 6 or 7 months ago to take classes in data science and machine learning. And so that's what I do now. And I'm finishing up those classes and looking for a job. And now I'm kind of dipping my toes back into the pleasant pool of Twitch and of Twitch chat. Yeah. Should I not have shown any encouragement to the podge? I had to fit in, though. I had to be one of all of you. P4F Flux asks, what were the clues leading to the discovery of my identity? Well, it was a very, for me, so I feel like I'm going to have to say this a number of times, but different people's, let me start over. People's experiences with this are so different. So, you know, what I'm sharing is just my own experience and may not be representative of literally anybody else, although that's probably not quite true. But for me, it happened very suddenly, where I had been kind of, you know, grappling with depression for many years, and kind of in working through with therapy, I don't know, something kind of clicked, and I started to realize that, like, thinking about myself in a more feminine way actually made me maybe like myself, which I never ever had before. And so when I kind of figured that out, it was a pretty quick path towards realizing, hey, I think this means maybe I'm transgender, and starting to do things for that. And that was a little over a year ago.
Hi,
and
Jessica.
for me,
Very
it's
happy
just
to
been
have you here
incredible
for a
of
great cause.
how much happier I am in life and how much better things are. I mean, there's definitely been challenges and, you know, trouble along the way, but man, I'm so much happier, and I can't, overstate that enough. Do I see myself streaming again? I streamed, the timing of this is hilarious and very serendipitous, in that I streamed for the first time like 2 days ago, just to, you know, it seemed like a fun thing to do. And now the timing of Jorbs then doing a charity stream for a community that I'm a part of is just perfect. So yeah, I'm definitely planning on streaming a little bit going forward, just for funsies. But I used to try and do it full time, and I'm not going to try and do that anymore. Have I experienced any discrimination while looking for a job? So I'm actually just about to start looking for a job. So I can't answer that question right now. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I won't find any discrimination in that, which is I think a reasonable thing to wish for. But I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, and a lot of companies here are quite progressive, so I'm not too terribly concerned. Trent Hister, and also Jorbs, feel free to jump in whenever you're ready, but I'm quite liking this.
Go for it.
Time
You're
to talk while you eat a
very
sandwich.
welcome. Yeah.
Okay. Trent Hister asks, what can the average cis hetero person do to help the LGBTQ plus community? I think that's a great question. I'm sure lots of people have different ideas, but the first thing that comes to mind is really, like, I'll focus more on the, like, cis transgender acceptance side of things, since that's kind of what the charity is about, and also what I feel most, like I can speak about it, is really, I would say, speaking up if you hear people around you saying things that are transphobic or talking about, you know, trans people in a negative way, because it really helps. And I think it's interesting that so often online, if you stand up for gay people or trans people, people are going to assume that you're gay or trans. And so having, you know, cis hetero allies really makes a big difference in normalizing things. I would say also, one thing that I've started to see that, I mean, it's kind of a whole can of worms to get into, but normalizing the use of, like, putting your pronouns on things like social media, it's kind of, so for myself as a trans person, I don't particularly want to put my pronouns she, her on, like, my LinkedIn and that kind of stuff, because presently it kind of is a sign that this person might be trans, and I don't really want to encourage, you know, when people are first looking at my profile, that's not what I want to be calling attention to. But I think if it's something that becomes more normalized and more cis people are doing, it won't have that point where it's like, this person has pronouns in their bio, they've got to be trans. So if you can help, just make that small change and help normalize it, a lot of people are really going to appreciate it. But excellent question. What else? I'm sure there's more questions. I was just, I was rambling, and I can't read and ramble at the same time. It's way too much. Yeah, thank you for the kind wishes. I hope the job search goes well too. This one's one. It's good to see you too, other Jessica. There's so many fantastic people who I haven't really seen for months, and it's great to be back. I'll make a heart. That's very kind of you to say. Any good tips and resources for voice training? Aw, and you have a compliment in there too, which I won't read out loud because it sounds like I'm just full of myself. I found, so there's some good documents. I think there's a subreddit that's r trans voice that has a lot of good tips and guides and that kind of stuff. There's some solid YouTube channels. I don't actually have any links off the top of my head, but that's kind of where I would start poking around. It definitely is something you can do because I've done it. What else is
You want to play some Watcher, Jessica?
I do want to play some Watcher. Thank you for asking.
Anybody who... Jessica has her own channel and Discord community, so... Okay, then. If anybody... Are you just exclamation mark? One of these will link to Jessica's stuff. I'm not sure which one did.
I think they both did it.
Oh, they both
did.
did. Well, fair enough. So if you have, any questions at all for Jessica, that's a pretty good place to go be loved and inclusive and wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair. All right.
I promise to stream more than once every 6 months, which has been the schedule recently.
The Watcher. What do you know about the Watcher?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure I saw a clip on Reddit of somebody doing 500 damage in 4 cards or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that about concludes what I know about the Watcher. And from being in your stream today and just kind of reading the room about how people talked about the Watcher, I got kind of a vibe that I don't know, it hasn't been the most popular, but I really have no clue about it. And I've heard that it's very complicated.
It is the most complicated of the 4 official characters, for sure.
Yeah.
I've been... I don't know, I think it's getting there. It's getting to a point where it's as polished as the other 3, but I think at the start it definitely wasn't there yet. And so I haven't been playing it that much. But I'm excited to see what it's like once it's done. I'm hoping that it gets to a point where I want to play it as much as I want to play Ironclad, Silent, and Defect.
So are you playing it in the rotation with the other 3? Or are you playing it when the stars align and it feels like time to play Watcher?
I play it when I'm tilted and I want to end the stream afterwards.
Nice.
I looked at my run history and I was like, oh, 4 days ago I played the Watcher once and then I didn't play again for 2 days. Oh, 2 days ago I played the Watcher once and then I didn't play again for 2 days.
Nice.
It's fine. It's fine. So our starter deck is 4 strikes, 4 defends, very normal. And we have Eruption and Vigilance. So Vigilance is a pretty normal looking block card which enters Calm for us. And Calm is a stance. There are 3 stances that the Watcher can be in. Whenever you exit Calm, you get 2 energy. And then there are a bunch of cards which interact with whether you're in Calm or not in a variety of ways as well, which we'll see lots of over the course of the run. And Eruption is a pretty normal looking damage card which enters Wrath. When you're in Wrath stance, you deal and receive double attack damage. So the very, very, very basic flow, at least between these 2 stances, is you get in Calm on one turn, and then the next turn you enter Wrath, you get an extra 2 energy, all of your attacks deal double damage and try to blow something up. And then maybe you leave Wrath at the end of your turn so that you're not taking double damage back. That's a pretty
That makes a lot of sense.
common play pattern here. Our starter
And
relic.
then what was the... Sorry, I missed... Oh, you're just about to talk about the starting relic. You're reading my mind.
Yes, gives us a miracle at the start of each combat. A miracle, we can... It's a 0-cost skill which we can exhaust for 1 energy, and it retains itself. This class has retain as a keyword, so it has a bunch of cards which just retain on their own without needing well-laid plans or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Also, before we get started, so I know in the past we had some way of setting it up that you could, like, I could broadcast my cam to you in Discord and you could put it on the
if
stream.
you would like to, I can do a Discord window capture.
Sure.
For sure.
Okay, so I think I just do this. And then my green screen hilariously doesn't work through Discord, so I just have a mostly green background.
Looking incredible, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
See if we can get this worked out. Oh, and I would share my screen directly with you, wouldn't I?
I think so. I can also, I mean...
Is this going to be like on
I'm
3
happy
second
just
delay
watching
or
the
whatever?
stream, and if I'm a few seconds behind, I suspect that since I don't actually know what a lot of these cards are doing, you're probably just going to be playing them and not really needing my input, but whatever works out for your stream setup, I can definitely, can work for me.
I'm going to try to do this, and if I start dropping frames, I start dropping frames. I'm on a different internet connection from last time, though, so hopefully it will work.
That's right, yeah.
Where do I put the other person? Like over here, maybe? Here? I don't know. You can
put me, like, directly above you, and I'll, like, look down on you in both a literal and metaphoric sense.
You can go there for right now. And then if it turns out that's in the wrong place...
Yeah, for sure.
We can fix it later. Okay. Sharing my stream screen that way doesn't work.
Oh, and there's audio and everything. Perfect.
This seems like it might work. So, okay, whale bonuses. I've been trading my starter relic a lot on this class because getting 1 energy on some turn in the course of a fight just isn't all that strong compared to what the other boss relics do. I feel like the Ironclad boss relic gives you sustain, the Silent boss relic gives you card draw, the Defect boss relic gives you front-loaded damage. All of those things are sort of unique and difficult to get in other ways and useful in Act 1. And then the Watch Your Starter relic giving you energy is like, you can just get that from the other boss relics most of the time. So I trade boss relic a lot on this class. But I think we should not trade boss relic here. Let's actually play with the flavorful relic.
That sounds like a... I was gonna suggest that so that I can, like, see the class as it was intended to be played.
Absolutely.
And I was also just, like, maybe before we start, I was curious about, like, what the class tends to struggle with, or what the class, are there, like, when you're starting your run, are there things that are like, this class really has a hard time blocking, this class really has a hard time doing AoE damage, or is it not? Are there any concerns like that?
So, the Watcher has... I think it has like 5 different sort of packages of synergies, and if you can mix and match pretty fluidly between them. It has some cards which are incredible on their own, but it has a lot of sort of like the exhaust package for Ironclad, where it's like Feel No Pain isn't that great on its own, but then like a third of the other cards exhaust too, so all of a sudden you have this bunch of cards that work really well together. Sometimes it feels difficult to me to put those together because there are just so many of them. It feels like 5 is more than the other classes have. And so you've got like Scry things and Retain things and Wrath things and Divinity things and something else, I don't know. So that's a problem that I've had building my Watcher decks, is that I don't feel like I can sensibly build them to a point where they win the end of the game, because I'm reliant on just lucking into hitting the cards that I need to build with the things that I'm already building, instead of being able to be more flexible. This is a problem that I have had. Other people like the class more than me and maybe have different opinions. That's the main thing that I would say. She can be very hot and cold in like early hallway fights, because the whole thing where you have to get in calm the turn before and then you have to go Wrath and draw a bunch of attacks along with Wrath is very high variance. So you can like kill Gremlin Knob on turn 2, or you can die to Gremlin Knob, and it's could go either way.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Those are my two main things. Should we go 100
Okay.
gold?
Works for me. Plus, then we can like look at shops and tell me about more cards I've never seen before.
Could go shopping. It's hard to go shopping and get 2 elites, and I feel like Watcher's really good at killing elites. So I think I'm gonna go to this campfire, and then maybe a question mark will be a shop that could be useful, especially with 100 gold.
Yeah, I can definitely see how doubling your damage output makes early elites tempting.
I think it's okay to just not take damage in this fight. It's too greedy. Not 100% sure. Watcher doesn't really scale at all. Watcher scales, but Watcher scales in very different ways. It's not like Silent where you get like Noxious Fumes and Catalyst, and then it's like, oh, I make a trillion poison. It's more like you get cards like Water, where this is like a super metallicize that's conditional, and then you can get lots of super metallicizes that are conditional, sort of thing.
I was watching the stream and not what you're sharing me, and I was like, what are you talking about? And then all the cards appeared. It's like, oh, Jorbs can read into the future. And the stream is pre-recorded. It all makes sense.
Okay, so I think all 3 of these cards are actually fairly strong staple type cards. So you've got Third Eye, gain 7 blocks, scry 3. Scrying is quite valuable. Scry probably works out to be something like half a card draw or something in value, so this is sort of like a shrug it off in value a little bit. But also, Scry will trigger effects like gain block every time you scry, which exist on powers. So you can get a ton of block with a deck that has cards like Third Eye. I think don't take it right now, because generally you want to get damage in your deck at the beginning of Act 1, just like on all the other characters.
Right.
Like Water is this the official art? That is... I think if that happens to you, you do actually just die, though. I don't... Is it... Alright, so... Like Water is insanely strong. It actually used to be gain 7 block at end of turn if you're in Calm, which was, you know, sort of silly. But even at gain 5, I think it's quite good. But we can't really guarantee
Can you remind me what Calm is again?
Calm is the stats that gives you 2 energy when you leave it. So it's on Vigilance. It's on our block card in our starter deck.
Okay.
In the beginning iterations of Watcher, one of the reasons that I soured on the character initially, it was fairly easy to enter and leave Calm, and so it just ended up building a ton of infinites, because it gives you a bunch of energy and all you need to add is card draw. But it's nowhere near as easy to enter Calm anymore, and it's not that easy to draw cards either, even if you can enter and exit Calm. Tantrum, I think, is just very, very strong. You've got the Sword Boomerang plus entering Wrath, plus it goes into your draw pile again. So this is like you kill Gremlin Knob, sort of, as a card. So
right, so is there... So my first thought upon hearing about Wrath being like doubling your damage, both taken and dealt, is it difficult to... Like, I can imagine you want some cards to get into Wrath, but you probably want some cards to get out of Wrath so that you can not die. Is there a lot of consideration to like how many Wrath cards you want, and you don't want too many or else it's too hard to leave them, or is that something that kind of works itself out more?
Well, you start with 1, and I think sometimes I'll add another, but I usually don't go above 2, I would say.
Okay.
When I was mentioning Retain earlier, there are quite a few attacks with Retain on them, and so you can have some attacks with Retain on them, like 2 or 3 maybe, is honestly maybe more than you need. And then you just hold those attacks until you draw your card that enters Wrath, and all of a sudden you have a turn where you can deal 60 damage or whatever and kill something. But because you can retain attacks, you don't really need that many ways to enter Wrath. You just need to eventually hit it with your retained attacks.
Yeah, so full disclosure, so when I was streaming this game for the first time in months the other day, people were asking if I'd played the new character, and of course I haven't. And I was kind of saying, I don't really think I necessarily want to stream playing it because I've never seen it, and I mean, chat loves telling people how to play characters, and I haven't seen it
Yes, they
before, so I
do.
don't really want to be backseated my first time. Then the opportunity to be backseated by you and how to play the character is like such a privilege and honor that I was like, okay, this way I can learn what I'm doing, and I can make sure the advice is legitimate and not just, I mean, I don't want to be too mean to Twitch chat here, but it's great.
Okay. We got a colorless potion. I have no idea if this is good or not. Like, I don't know. With with an attack potion, I'm like, oh yeah, you save that for an elite fight. With a colorless potion, it's like, I really have no idea. So I'm wondering if we use it here. But how often does it actually block for any number? I don't know.
I don't know. So my colorless potion anecdote, when I was playing this for the first time, I had the relic that doubles your potion efficacy, and kind of forgot that I had it, and then saw the colorless potion, and it read, choose a random colorless card, add 2 copies to your hand. And my first thought was, that's perfect. They realize colorless cards are just trash, so they give you 2 copies to make this potion average out to be like the same power level. And then I realized, oh no, that's because I have the relic, and it all made sense.
Vanessa are thinking ahead. Oof. I think thinking ahead, if we hit Tantrum, we actually kill instantly. There's a lot of math on this character.
I heard about that, yeah. I figure since you're the one playing the cards, I'm not even gonna bother trying to figure out the right thing to do each turn, and I'll just when you're thinking of what to do, I'll just type transgender pride in chat and that kind of stuff.
That's cool. This is our first time that we've done the thing where we're in calm and then we go into wrath. So we can deal 27. We can deal 39 damage this turn with 1 energy left over. Just out of nowhere. In a deck that hasn't done anything else at any point in the entire run.
Right, yeah.
Pressure points, flurry of blows, follow up. So Flurry of Blows is super fun. Whenever you can change stances, you return it from your discard pile to your hand. So if you can go in and out of Calm and Wrath a whole bunch, you can play this card a ton. If you have Ornamental Fan or Kunai or Shuriken, this scale is really strong. Pressure Points is bizarre. This is the only card in the game that has Mark written on it, so it's just
who is Mark?
I'm not sure. Must be related to Dawn. Be.
The Red Mask?
Yeah. Dawn, the Red Mask. Is Mark, the all enemies lose HP. I played a run with 4 copies of this and then I died. So, I mean, it was fun, but then I died. It doesn't really interact with any other things that Watcher does. I think it's just a bad card. I'm not sure what the use case is for it. Maybe you kill Champ with it sometimes. It's sort of like a Rampage a bit, so you can use it for the things that Rampage can be good at sometimes. But it's worse than Rampage.
Yeah. Well, doesn't it mean if you have 3 different pressure points, it's you have...
Oh, it's you have 3 Rampages. Yeah, 3 pressure points is sort of like having 3 Rampages in your deck. But the problem is it doesn't scale with strength. It doesn't deal more damage with vulnerable.
Right. So, I mean, I have so many questions, and I'm trying not to just totally bog us down in questions, but I was thinking about this earlier. Does the Watcher have sources of strength, dexterity, any other stats, or are those not really a part of its kit?
Very limited strength and dexterity. She can vulnerable and weak things pretty well. One thing that she doesn't have, which frustrates me a lot actually, is she doesn't have any way to strength down. So Ironclad has Disarm, Silent has Piercing Wail. Defect doesn't have a strength down either, but Defect has Static Discharge, which is really cool against the ×15 type attacks. Watcher doesn't have anything like that at all.
Interesting.
But yeah, weak and vulnerable is fine, and a little bit of access to strength and dex. She has a lot of access to more energy. That's the most accessible thing for her, which is a little bit weird. I don't... We can take Flurry of Blows, I guess. I'm not sure what is correct here. Maybe it's a skip, maybe it's Flurry of Blows with, like... We have Tantrum already, so we can go in and out of Wrath, maybe. There are a bunch of cards which let you leave stances. There are three empty cards. Empty Fist, Empty Mind, and Empty Body. They're just like normal cards which let you leave the stance that you're in. And that will proc your Flurry of Blows coming back as well and let us get out of Wrath. So probably we're looking for one of those right now since we have 2 Wrath sources and don't really want to stay in Wrath and get killed.
Right.
Heal? Banana or donut? Heal or heal? Heal or more than heal? What are your thoughts here?
I mean, I always had a hard time saying no to a donut
Yeah, agreed.
at this event.
Agree. Always agreed.
I could like never bring myself to not pick the greediest option at so many events.
It just feels bad.
Yeah, you're just leaving max HP on the table.
So this turn, with Flurry of Blows in our discard pile, if we play Vigilance, we get Flurry of Blows back. Heal 4, we play Tantrum, we go into Wrath, we get Flurry of Blows back, we get 2 more energy. So 13, 21, 33, 40, 45. 45 is not
Oh, I can
lethal.
see where the math comes in with the, yeah, since you can
But-
double things.
But it's okay, because we can actually full block while in Wrath anyway. That should win next turn. Astrabelier, thanks for gifting a sub to the Onion Knight. Thank you. I have been really bad about subs and stuff. Thank you, Chef Steven, for the $19.69 donation. Swans1, thanks for the $10 donation. Swans1 said, "Hi, Jessica. Very happy to have you here for a great cause." Not sure if you saw that, Jessica.
I did not, but I can only echo it. I'm so happy to be here for a great cause too.
Astrabelier, who got us kicked off this morning with a $1,000 donation. Much love. Thank you for gifting subs to Mako Heart and Onion Knight as well. And Rumble Pack, thank you very much for the 3 months subbed. Thank you all.
So many good people. It's incredible.
So Sash Whip is one of our weak cards. There aren't...
Mhm.
I think there are 3 cards off the top of my head that I can think of that apply weak. One of them's a very strong AoE one, but it's sort of... It's a little bit like Shockwave. It's like a little bit clunky to play, so it gets better later in the run, but isn't super useful early. Sash Whip is like your... What's the silent one where you punch them and they become weak?
Oh yeah, Sucker Punch?
Yeah. Sash Whip is your sucker punch.
How do I remember this and not you? Don't you play this game every day?
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm
That's
getting
true.
old.
That's fair.
Twitch chat's taking its gradual toll on me. Sash Whip is like Sucker Punch for a class that keeps playing attacks for the entire game, though. Where Silent like switches into doing poison things or power things a ton of the time, Defect tends to keep on playing attacks a lot. And so the fact that its attack does matter. Like on well, I said Defect, didn't I? On Wanderer, this can double damage, for example, with Wrath. So all of a sudden it's 16 damage for 1 energy.
Right.
It's like a pretty solid card and remains a pretty solid card throughout the entire game. Because the strike plus half of it is good early, and then the weak is really good late when enemies attack for a large number.
Right. And so you're saying there's only like 3 cards for the Watcher that apply weak? Does that mean those kind of
think
are
so.
at a premium since there's not many of them?
Yeah, I think you probably always are going to want 2 of those. And they're not quite as good as like Leg Sweep or Crippling Cloud for Silent. So sort of have to deal with something like a Sash Whip.
Sure.
Just Lucky collects. These are like cards, I guess. I don't know. Collect's a fascinating card. We can take a bunch of energy and then we can have it later instead of now.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's like 1 down payment and you get energy for the next couple turns.
Yes. Reverse
But yeah, I can
mortgage
see
on
now
your
that we've
energy.
done a couple fights, I can see how the boss relic swap makes a lot of sense since it's like 1 point of energy on 1 turn versus 1 point of energy on every turn.
Yes. Yes, indeed. I have really liked the Eruption upgrade, generally. Taking this down
Oh,
to
sure.
1 energy, especially since we're entering Wrath with it, it gives us that 1 more energy to either leave Wrath afterwards or to play extra attacks on the Wrath turn. So that's been my
It's
norm.
nice that it's a starting card upgrade that makes it cheaper. I don't think there are any of those on the other characters, are there?
Interesting. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Can you think of any in Twitch chat?
We'd also see Sash Whip Plus being good just for the extra week. Sort of like a Sucker Punch upgrade. Oh, Zap. Zap and Dual Cast. Effect has 2 of them.
Oh, Zap upgraded costs 0? Oh. Huh, interesting.
Hey, Sinister Hologram. I'm not sure which of Sash Whip and Eruption is better, really. I'm gonna try to take 2 elites because of the Sperry in a Bottle. I think since you stopped streaming, Fairy in a Bottle has been buffed from 15 to 30%.
Nice.
So yeah, making sure that we die to get value from that seems really important here.
Right. Stay in Wrath to optimize your fairy value.
Yes. This is a very watch your turn. I think the only way to play this turn is to start attacking Lagavulin, but we end up in Wrath, and then next turn sometimes we take 40, but sometimes we take like 2, and it's completely random whether it's 40 or 2.
Right, right.
So it's a
That's what the fairy in the bottle's for, though, right?
Yeah. It's a very, very watch your turn. And this time it will be 40. Good.
Lucky us.
Wondering if it's worth it to play Defends or not.
Or just like take advantage of the doubled damage.
Yeah. Next turn we play... Oh, you know what? I ruined everything. I needed to play a strike last so that Sash Whip would apply weak. Sash Whip is over the combat instead of over the course of your turn, which I don't believe the other classes have any cards like that.
Okay,
So
yeah.
we wanted to play an attack last for this turn, so the next turn we had our Sash Whip applying weak. Burns actually turned that off. Burns count as playing at the end of your turn. Super gross. Well, anyway, I'll just play the strike so that I can weaken next turn. Oh, and that's actually lethal damage. Fair enough. Tori.
Beautiful.
So Tori unfortunately doesn't apply when you receive 40 unblocked attack damage. But if we receive 5 or less, we can reduce it to 1. These are more common attacks.
It wouldn't like... No, I guess it wouldn't like... If you were gonna take a 4 damage attack that's getting doubled, you'd take 8, right? It wouldn't hook you up with that, like, loophole?
You would still take 8, yeah.
Fair.
These are all pretty good. Being able to apply Vulnerable is really cool on a character that mostly deals damage with attack damage. Bowling Bash is... like, you can kill Reptimancer on turn 1 with 2 of these sorts of things. Like, this card is one of those cards that is sometimes completely insignificant and other times is insane. Sort of like Whirlwind or Immolate or whatever. Except that it's different. It's like a single target card that's really good in the multi-target fights.
Right.
Cut Through Fate does a little bit of everything. The Scry trigger on it's really good for your Scry powers. You can like scry your Flurry of Blows into the discard pile instead of drawing it, which can be nice. We already have a Flurry of Blows in our deck. And then drawing a card on an attack is like fine.
Yeah, that sounds like just like a very solid card.
Yeah, I think Cut Through Fate's okay here. I think the other two are probably okay too. I'm not sure which one's better. Uh-oh. Oh, we just have enough damage here to split on turn 1, I think. Maybe kill on turn 1?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this one of those fabled Watcher turns where they just frickin' die?
Certainly had some damage there.
Yeah, I'm immediately seeing what you were talking about this feeling like a very like high variance class where sometimes you just draw what you need and fight ends, and sometimes you don't draw what you need and then the fight ends, but for a different reason.
Yeah. Secret Doves, thanks for the 9 months. I'll show to you as well. Fasting's a really interesting card. Very, very interesting card. 3 strength, 3 dexterity, but we get 1 less energy at the start of each turn.
Oh yeah, geez.
So this is like a very run-defining card. I'm not sure that we can take it in Act 1 without having a 4th energy from a boss relic trade. Foresight's pretty solid. There's no card quite like this on the other classes. I guess Reprogram for Defect a little bit, but this is a power.
Right.
Upgrades to Scry 4. Used to upgrade to Innate.
So it's kind of like a machine learning type card, but
Yeah.
it's scrying instead.
Yeah, I guess so. I think it's probably more value than machine learning on average. Scrying 3,
Yeah.
I think. In my head, for whatever reason, I typically think scrying is about worth drawing half that many cards.
Right.
It depends
Yeah,
how
so I
many
mean,
cards like Flurry of Blows you have, of course.
Right. It's kind of interesting. So I mean, I've played quite a bit of Magic where scry is also a keyword that does a very similar thing.
Yeah.
But I think like the fact that in that game, you know, you draw 1 card a turn, and in this game you draw 5 cards a turn.
Yeah.
Really changes. Like you might think you can just evaluate it like, oh, in Magic it does this, but in this context it can be quite different.
Yes, I think it's significantly less powerful than it is in Magic because of the how many cards per turn you're drawing.
Right.
For sure. It's still okay though. It's still perfectly fine. And one of the strongest available ways to block for Watcher is by having a bunch of scry triggers as well. So if we can put this together with a Nirvana, which is the name of the power that gains us block on every scry, all of a sudden we have like one of our metallicizes, and then we just have to make a bunch of other metallicizes. This scries, this would be our second scry card. Yeah, I think Foresight's fine. I think Third Eye is probably fine too. I'm not sure which one's better. I don't think we take Fasting yet though. You can also not arrange the cards like in MTG, yeah. Although in MTG, this is like halfway between Scry and Surveil in MTG without being able to...
Oh, sure.
Because Surveil is the one where you're allowed to put cards into your graveyard, and Scry is only like you rearrange the ones. Can you put Scry cards on the bottom of your deck, actually? I don't remember this stuff. It's been a while. I'm gonna go Foresight. Foresight's sweet, I think. Ooh, we can bottle it. We want to bottle it? Sure, why not? Fasting can be blocked or scrubbed with orange pellets. That is correct. This is a weird... I guess because we have Foresight in play, we probably want to play Vigilance so that we can be calm and put that in the discard pile. Wait, draw it actually? Put that in the discard pile. And then we're in calm, and we can scry.
So when we cast,
to try to
so
get a bunch of attacks.
So when we go into Wrath, we get the energy? Is that the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we need to get a bunch of attacks. There are 2 defends. We need to get a Source of Wrath. Nope.
Ooh.
Next turn. I think we just kill next turn. Like outright. No?
Right.
Maybe? Maybe we're short. Being short sounds bad. I just made you ban Ethan?
Dude, I just... Ethan, I love you. I'm sorry. I think I just unbanned you too. I had a. Oh my
banned
gosh.
Ethan yesterday.
So
Hey, that was
back when
exactly
I was
fine.
streaming, I had the opportunity to do that. That was all me. I shot the gun, and I'm so sorry, Ethan. Your death weighs heavily on me. Can you type so that I can make sure I unbanned you? Okay, okay. So I had a yeah, using mod icons a little. Look, I'm a casual mod, okay? I haven't modded in months. So I had an opportunity on Transgender Day of Visibility, which was back in March, to do a stream on the front page of Twitch for a trans charity. And the chat was like this constant war between my watchers and, people who are supportive of trans folks typing positive things to counteract the fact that there were like hundreds of people typing just like vile, hateful stuff. And the whole mod team was there just like constantly trying to ban out all of the, unsavory types posting horrible things. And so many people got banned along the way just because like the chat's moving so fast and it was crazy.
There was some collateral damage.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Water is back. Simmering Furies here evaluates here.
Sorry, what was that?
Do you know how to play this character? Can you just tell me what to take, or do you still not know yet? And I still have to do it. We're what, like 10 floors in?
We are 10 floors in. So far, I think it seems like you've been playing pretty well.
Thank you.
I would have liked to see on Lagavulin. It would have been nice if you drew a card to get us out of Wrath on turn 2. But I can understand, the character, everyone talks about the character's learning curve, and it's just so true. So I can give you a free pass on that one.
Sure, I just hadn't learned how to do that yet, and that makes sense.
Right. But with practice, maybe someday.
I'm not sure whether we're in calm often enough for like Water. What are the rights trans people and allies are fighting for? Oh my gosh, there are so many. So many. So many. Is there like a website that just has a list? It would be like too long. There's like the super simple stuff like being allowed to visit your partner in hospital. Like you need hospitals to recognize that you are a person who has that. Do you want to answer that, Jessica?
Yeah, I would say you're right. It's kind of like, it almost feels like a hard question to answer because it's just kind of like, where do I freaking begin? But some of the things that come to mind first are discrimination in settings like employment, where...
What about the Supreme Court case this month, yeah?
Exactly, yeah. It's currently in the States a Supreme Court case that will essentially decide, or maybe you should look it up for exactly the details, but pretty much looking into if your gender identity can be grounds to terminate somebody from their job. That was an important part. Terminate from employment, not terminate. But other things that are, I think, constant, like, issues that are... I'm sorry, that was too good of a verbal slip. Other issues that are often debated are things even as simple as, like, using the right bathroom. So for myself, as a trans woman, there's people who think that I should have to use the men's restroom because I was born assigned male, when and I think most people would agree, would think that's not really safe for somebody who looks like me to go into the men's restroom. And quite frankly, is kind of bullshit to think that that's where I should be. And then also there's really, in a lot of the world, there's really very poor support for resources for trans people seeking medical care that they need. And I mean, I'm fortunate to be living somewhere where when I figured out that I was trans, I was able to get onto hormone replacement therapy, which is the kind of main treatment or, medical path that I'm taking. But in a lot of the world, it's extremely difficult or impossible for people to get on hormones, or it takes years to get access to it. And then all sorts of medical complications that really need expert care that is just so hard to come by. So there's a lot of like little things that maybe you wouldn't consider, but end up being hugely impactful in the lives of trans people.
Cool.
Cool.
Even as somebody who is not a trans person, a lot of the things that affect trans people, like I look at how the world would be if we improved on those things, and it's like, oh, the world would be better. Like this would clearly be better for me. It's not even like something that is just assisting somebody who is a trans person. So, yeah, like a lot of issues tie in with things like healthcare reform, which is something that is desperately needed for all people, not just trans people. It's a good place to be making improvements, I think. All right, I don't know if I'm meant to take like water here or not. I think I'm just gonna not.
Just follow your heart.
What do you think about evaluate? How would you evaluate?
I was gonna say, it seems like a tough card to evaluate, and then I'm just gonna hope that wordplay was enough to not have an opinion on it. I feel like shuffling an insight. Oh, it's an insight. It's not a miracle.
No, this one draws 2 cards.
That actually sounds. That sounds pretty decent.
So it's like a backflip that.
Right.
No, it's not like a back. Well.
It's like a backflip that splits up the effects over.
Yeah, you have to draw 2 cards to get your backflip.
Right.
And you can't draw the card straight away, but you get to retain the draw a card half of it, so you can do it for a Wrath turn. You can have 2 more turns, 2 more cards on your turn where you enter Wrath from Calm to get more chance at hitting good attacks. You could take it and just see.
Right.
Alright. Hey, Pocket Watch.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Thoughts on resting with 6 health versus getting the fairy in a bottle value? I'm gonna take like one fight.
Look, one of those 2 options had the word value in it. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's fair. Evaluate is a 4 block upgrade. That's so interesting. There are so few cards that upgrade 4 block.
It's so funny to me how it's like the game generally tends to follow patterns of like, if you upgrade this type of a card, you're gonna get this many points of damage or blocking as the upgrade. And then some cards are just like, actually, no, I think I'm gonna upgrade from 6 to 10 block. That's kind of what it feels like I'm gonna do.
I think there's a card on this character which upgrades for +5 damage as a 1-cost common attack. But I wouldn't know what it was because I just assumed that they all upgrade for 3. So like, until I look at that one specifically, how would I ever find out?
Right.
It seems impossible.
It's funny too, like, so kind of returning to the game after a long time of not playing it, and like, I didn't realize until watching your stream earlier that fire breathing was reworked.
Oh,
and a lot of those kind of things. It's like, how would for me to have realized on my own it was reworked, I would have had to read the card, which I'm not really in the business of reading the text on fire breathing. I kind of am like now suspicious of like every card in Relic of like, so what do you do again? Who are you exactly?
I get that. I also don't read the text on fire breathing ever. Check out Lesson Learned. Joe says...
Oh, that's sick.
Oh my god, Jess, I've missed you streaming oh so much, sending you all the love. Also, you got kicked out of the men's bathroom last night. I'm assigned male at birth and trans femme. So that was weirdly validating. That's a positive spin on it.
That's so great to hear from you, Joe. Yeah. It's kind of funny how like so for me as a trans woman of like having some experiences of people being like misogynistic and shitty towards me, and it's like on one hand that's fucked up, don't do that, but on the other hand it's like, well, if you're being shitty to me for that reason, it means that you see me as a woman, and that's pretty cool. So Yeah, exactly. It just feels weird, man, if there ever was a reason for it.
We have had a lot more donations since you came on. We got $100 from Anonymous, who voted to enable Paj in the Paj trilemma. Thank you, Anonymous, for the $100. That's incredible. TK donated $10. I'm super happy to see Jorbs supporting trans Lifeline. I'm trans myself, so it's really nice to see one of my favorite streamers supporting us. My partner and I have fallen asleep together watching Jorbs many nights over the past year. I don't know. I just love that I'm like a part of people's winding down from the day. It feels so like it's such like a sacred time. Like you get done with work and all your responsibilities and school and whatever, and then you're winding down. Hi, cat.
Right.
And then I get to like hang out. Thank you. Bearhoon donated $50. Thank you, Bearhoon. Ensef donated $10. Thank you, Ensef. Opti Mitch, thank you for the $40 donation. Oh, heck yeah, happy to support a good cause. Thank you. Chaotic Crawler, thank you for the $20 donation. As someone who started transitioning recently, I'm glad to see such support for Trans Lifeline. Yeah, I think it's a really, really good cause. And Anonymous, thank you for the $20 donation. Anonymous has been a prolific donator today. Thank you, Anonymous, for all of the donations. Much appreciated.
Unstoppable.
Much appreciated. Protect's a really interesting card. I have this thing where every time I play the Watcher, I try to work out, like, what would you need to change about Protect for it to be a rare for a different character? And I think the answer is, like, possibly nothing. Like, maybe give it 2 more block. It's so powerful. You get, like, you have this incredible way to turn energy into block that you can just retain until whatever turn you need. Like, for all the reasons well-laid plans half the time, more than half the time, I feel like I just hold a block card with well-laid plans because I want to make sure I can block every turn. And this just like has that attached to it. And well-laid plans is obviously insanely strong. Thank you, Crime Fridge, for the 1,430 bits. Appreciate those. Yeah, lesson learned is sort of crazy. So feed is really, really strong as Ironclad for sure. And I compare lesson learned to feed. It's a little bit harder to pull it off maybe, but I think that upgrading a random card in your deck is probably stronger even than getting 3 max HP.
What happens if you upgrade lesson learned? Does it do something even better, or is it just like more damage?
It's more damage. It's one of those like really, really underwhelming upgrades.
Right, it's one of the disappointing ones.
Yeah. Thanks for the 500 bits, yeah. Hey, I hope that time with family goes awesome.
So my question about lesson learned is, it seems like the way a lot of these fights have been going is we draw the part of our deck that does Wrath, and then the fight ends on that turn. So is there any difficulty with lesson learned of like consistently activating it? Because with Ironclad you can stall for... I'm no stranger to stalling for a long time so I can feed. Can Watcher do that same thing?
Mr. Rebelier, thanks for gifting a sub to High Lungs. And hi, High Lungs. Glad you've been enjoying the YouTube. Thanks for checking in. It is harder to stall with Watcher. We do have, like, Scry... And we do get some retain cards. Like, once you get a couple of protects in your deck, all of a sudden it's a lot easier to stall, for sure. We don't have any yet. I think we take lesson learned, like, every time. A lot of Ascension 20 heart kills on Watcher have every card upgraded because you got an early lesson learned, and then once you upgrade every card, it turns out your deck is better.
Right. Is there a way... So it has some retain mechanics. Can you retain lesson learned somehow, or does that not part of the kit?
There's a card that lets you grab a card from your discard and retain it for 1 turn. So you can use that to retain it sometimes.
Cool.
It's not... There's nothing as clean as well-laid plans for Silent, where it's just like, oh,
nothing
yeah,
is as clean as well-laid plans.
No, it isn't. Not at all. Lesson learned. 9 plus 20 that kills.
I think that was the first time I heard the sound effect of going into Wrath. It sounds like a train?
Yeah,
or something?
It sounds to me like the part of a car crash before the impact. It's the
I
like
hear it.
wheels
I
screeching.
totally hear it. Yeah.
I've had 3 like waters. Crazy. So Windmill Strike is one of those retain attacks that I was talking about before. This one, whenever you retain it, you increase its damage by 4 for the combat, so it's like a boss killer type card. And you use
Okay.
it plus stall to beat champ, I guess, in theory. It tends to be not that incredible, really.
Right.
Like against Time Eater? Sure, but against the heart, not so much.
And it sounds just so underwhelming against like every hallway fight and elite fight.
Yeah, for sure. Just take a like water. Holt is a card that I have never taken. Maybe
Do you
want to
have like the world
good.
premiere of having Halt in your deck live on Twitch?
Not really.
Okay, that's fair.
Gaining 12 block for 0 energy does sound like a pretty good thing though, doesn't it?
I mean, that's a lot of block for not a lot of energy. I'm not totally sure what the ratio is, but it sounds pretty up there.
Also not sure what the ratio is. Yeah, I have no idea if this is like water or Holt or skip.
I mean, if you don't know, I don't know either. And if you do know, I don't know either. So I'm happy with any pick.
I think I'll like water. Take one of those. Still have fairy in a bottle value. With Scry, we can like water pretty well. Yeah, I suspect that that's true. Although, we have not yet seen another card that puts us into Calm in this run. We have Pocket Watch as well, so we can like really see a lot of cards potentially.
Wait, do we see like, have we already drawn cards? Okay, I'm pretty sure that we had drawn cards from Pocket Watch as you had the option to scry.
Oh, did we draw Pocket Watch, then Scry, then...
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that makes sense, because the relics go before
we got
the
it,
powers,
yeah, in that
right?
order. Yeah.
The powers go after burns, don't they? So they're like last in a turn. Yeah, that's a little bit weird.
I could never remember this stuff, like, when I was playing it every day, so I definitely can't remember it now.
Fair. Fair enough.
I think towards the end of streaming, when people asked questions about like interactions between burns and powers and all that kind of stuff, I would just kind of like make a guess and sound like I had conviction, and then know that chat was gonna, you know, someone in chat was gonna know. I didn't have
Jessica,
to know.
Yeah, I do that too. I can relate. I can relate in some ways to what you're describing.
You just have to say something. It doesn't have to be the right
it
thing.
could be anything. Here's our insight. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing this turn. I'm just like in Wrath form for some reason, but I don't really know why. Oh, I guess I'm proccing Fairy in a Bottle this turn. Wait, what?
I guess so.
I didn't weaken it? Alright, well played. Well played. This is my friend
I mean, there's
Jessica.
nothing we can do.
Jessica streams over at twitch.tv/TheMunchdown.
Well,
Exclamation mark Jessica.
streams in quotes, but it's true.
Yeah, I mean, we're, you know.
Of course.
I played Miracle, which is a skill before Whip. I'll have to see the legal documentation on that one. I appreciate your concern, but I doubt that that's something I would do. Thoughts on keeping lesson learned? No, that seems incredibly bad.
I'll remember that.
Yeah, we definitely already have 3 cards when this happens, don't we?
Yeah.
So this turn we
Kind of nice,
can
make slightly more informed decisions.
go into Wrath, and then also Leap Wrath. Also, we might be
I
able
gotta
to
say,
just
now that
kill.
I've... That seems like a sentence you say a lot with this character. Maybe we just kill.
It's nice to have, like, your wheelhouse sentences. You don't have to think too hard.
Right. Like Twitch Prime, by the way. That's a classic one.
Twitch Prime! Did not kill, but we shuffled him insight into our draw pile. And Tantrums there. Probably we can kill this turn.
Also, now that I've noticed the entering wrath sound, I think every time it's happened, I've like had to stifle a laugh.
Yeah. This makes me like progressively more upset every time I hear it. Nicktron, thanks for the Twitch Prime. Ugmomo show to you as well.
Twitch Prime, by the way.
These are a couple of really fun rares, and Deus
Yeah,
Ex.
these are wild ones.
Deus Ex sounds like it would be so cool. That's actually the Magic School Bus, I believe, hitting Time Eater. Yeah.
And this art is just, it's doing it for me.
The
This is
art does
incredible.
not match the card in particular. Because like in this situation, you're like at 1 health and Time Eater's about to kill you, and then the card is like, you gain 2 energy this turn when you draw
I mean,
this.
I guess you could like take an interpretation where the miracle is the school bus hitting Time Eater right before it gets you. But I do hear what you're saying.
Do you think after the school bus hits Time Eater, the school bus just hits you? Like, it seems like conservation of momentum would, like, that looks like
I
that's
would
about
think,
to happen.
Right, I would think with the Time Eater's, like, slimy, stretchy body, it would, like, act as a slingshot and send the bus flying back from whence it came. Or
Right.
not. Or not.
Bolt's really interesting. Bolt's like Time Walk and Magic, I guess, like just sort of straight up.
Right.
There are things that Volt interacts with in Watcher in sort of interesting ways. Like there's a power that makes it so every time you retain a card, it costs 1 less energy, and so you'll get a few cards retained and play your power, and then your Volt is like speeding up your process toward them all costing 0. For the most part, though, it just sort of feels like a time walk. Volt's another reason that I really like trading Boss Relic, because Volt means that having 6 energy on Watcher can be good. You get like 2 of these.
Right. It seems like the biggest awkwardness with Vault is like drawing it when you no longer have the energy to play it. But other than that, it sounds just like a very positive effect.
Yeah,
like any turn that you have it, you can like just get some extra value before you vault.
Can't think of many situations where I don't want to have a vault in my deck. Pretty sure I would always just want a vault. Maybe if you have fasting and you're only going to be on 2 energy, but I'm not sure why you'd be in that situation. Wish is a thing. Wish
That's
recently changed. Wish used to be that you gained 2 plated armor at the end of your turn. Like forever? Until the end of the fight. So the last time I beat the heart on Watcher, I think I had 79 plated armor or something on turn 8. Just by playing a lot of wishes.
Right.
Volt with Pocket Watch could be good. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm okay with Wish or Volt. I'm not really sure which one's better. Do you have any preferences?
They both sound like fun to me.
You can flip a coin. How do you, like, choose when you could go either way? Do you have a method?
I really don't. I just kind of... I don't know. I just kind of pick one. Forehead?
I'm down. So Runic Pyramid's very good on a class that's about comboing cards together.
Sure.
Runic
I mean,
Pyramid...
it's good on anybody, but I can see how it'd be particularly strong here.
Yeah, it does make Pocket Watch a lot worse. Like a very, very, very large amount worse.
I mean, I haven't really seen the message, my hand is full, recently, so I'd be down to, like, see it 100 times in the next 30 minutes.
Yep. Violet
Interesting.
Lotus is, yeah, whenever we exit column, we gain an additional energy, so it'd be getting 3 energy instead of 2 energy. And Phylostone gives enemies 1 strength. Gives enemies 1 strength. It gives us an extra energy.
Right.
Phylostone might be correct here. I'm down to try a runic pyramid, but I think our relics are really bad for it.
Yeah, because I mean, it seems like one of the recurring themes has just been like the more energy we can get, the better.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's correct. Hey, we can go to the store.
We have a lot of money, don't we?
We have $575.
I would love to know what that's like.
No longer a rich streamer.
Exactly. I decided to forego the path of like more money than I knew what to do with streaming to get a job in tech instead. SMH my head.
Yeah, a lot of people working in tech in San Francisco who are really. Yeah, I mean, presumably
Envious
a lot of
those
them
Twitch
can't
streamers and their
actually
deep pockets.
afford to live anywhere because it's San Francisco, right? But tech pays decently. We want a lesson learned here, so we don't actually want to end the fight yet. Twenty times 2, huh?
Beautiful.
Easy. Blessing of the Forge. Upgrade all cards in your hand for the rest of combat. I have no idea how to evaluate this. Well, my problem is I always look at it and I'm like, that's bad. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's some other way to think about it.
Okay, how new are these potions? Are they all right new? Like, are they all brand new?
A lot of them are
all...
in the last month, I would say.
The last month, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some cool ones. I do love how the potions are becoming different from just, oh, do some damage. Oh, do some damage, but you do it with poison instead of straight damage and that kind of stuff.
This does upgrade our miracle, so it's like an energy potion sometimes, half an energy potion. Obviously, we're taking it. Prostrate, Third Eye, Consecrate. I think this is the first mantra that you've seen.
I think you're right.
When you obtain 10 mantra, you enter Divinity. And when you enter Divinity, you gain 3 energy, and attacks deal triple damage while you're in the stance, but you exit it at the start of your next turn. So this is like you take the Wrath turn concept and then you make it even more obscene.
Yeah. Crank it up to 11.
Yes. So I don't really understand how I'm meant to scale my damage against the heart as Watcher. It feels like there are some absurd rares that can do stuff for you, and then there's like you can have 2 liquid bronze, but that doesn't feel like probably the way the character's intended to be the heart.
Right, yeah.
Divinity is like an attempt to do it, I guess, but the heart can only take 200 damage every turn. So
Right, I was just thinking that if our character is kind of designed around, we build up to one, you know, incredible turn where you do 1,000,000 damage, the heart doesn't care about that so much.
Yeah. So I don't know. There are, I think, ways to enter Divinity fairly cheaply, which are useful just in the course of fights all the time, and you don't really have to think like, oh, I'm building 1 Divinity turn. It's more like, oh, these cards are reasonably decent value, and the Divinity turn ends up being pretty good a lot of the time.
Right.
I think Prostrate's probably not one of those. Like, very, very low impact type card.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Third Eye. We said it was good. I think just take a Third Eye. Consecrate's interesting. We don't have any AoE yet.
Okay.
Looking forward to learning about a whole lot of Watcher stuff.
The screen popped up and my thought process was, oh shit.
Stars are hard in this game.
Yeah, aren't they though?
Is that new Smite art? I think that's new Smite art. It's like halfway off the screen. I can't see all of it.
Looks new to me.
At the start of each turn, add a Smite into your hand. Smite is like the most depressing thing, because it's like if Phantasmal
It's like you had
Killer...
to pay for shivs.
If Phantasmal Killer Skewer was actually the best thing that you could do with your class, that would be sort of what smites are.
Right.
I really hope that smites aren't good, but sometimes I feel like maybe they are. I don't know. It's a way to turn energy into damage, I guess, and if you're struggling to find that from other places, yeah. Meditate's one of the strongest cards in the class. I think we're definitely buying a Meditate here.
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Helps
Didn't
with
we?
lesson
Okay,
learned
we
as
might not
well.
have taken this card, but did we get a card? Oh, it's the upgrade card that we talked about. This one, right? Lesson learned?
Yeah, because we can use
Yeah.
it to retain lesson learned for the turn where we need it.
Mhm.
So let's just click on that. That's fine. We've seen Evaluate already. I don't think we need to pay for another one. We've seen Follow Up already. Don't think we need to buy one of those. Empty Fist is fascinating because it upgrades to 14 damage. So it's a
Oh,
plus
you were
5
talking
damage
about this
upgrade.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just a thing that it does. I don't think that we want to exit our stats with a Strike plus all that much. I'd much rather like leave Wrath with the Meditate that I just bought, for example. I think I'm pretty cool with not taking that. Clockwork Souvenir is like always insane. Just buy that. I think that Ginger is a solid Watcher relic. Because all
Yeah, I
of
was
our
gonna
damage
ask
is
what
from
your
attacks.
thoughts. That does make a lot of sense. I was gonna ask what your thought is on the Clockwork Souvenir, which I think is behind this text bubble.
Oh,
but
no, I
now
bought
I'm
it
second
already.
guessing it. Oh, you're
You
perfect.
can just
Okay.
always buy Clockwork Souvenir.
So
Ever
it wasn't
since-
actually behind the bubble.
Ever since
Because
the
I was kind of
heart
like
was
looking at your
introduced-
wait, you're gonna buy Ginger but not Clockwork Souvenir? Interesting.
Ever since the heart was introduced and it gives you vulnerable on turn 1, like Clockwork Souvenir saves you
Right.
30
And it just
health
means
or
like a
something at
speed
the hardest
potion.
fight in the game. Yeah, and all of the other interactions too.
Right. It's like you were talking about your heart win condition being 2, bronze, 2 thorns potions. Well, it's like, yeah, speed potion and artifact also is just kind of like the same thing.
Certainly helps. Let's try a Ginger.
Let's try it.
I think like card removing and doing things other than that is probably good too. We will give away
Card removing?
This is the Spirits event. So if we
Right.
give away an uncommon, we full heal, but I think we just give away a Strike. Don't think Volt is worse than removing a Strike. But if we gave away Volt, we would have a Strike instead of Volt, but would have 10 max HP, and we would have healed 13. I don't think that's worth it.
Plus,
This
Vault seems like a fun
is-
card. I don't want to get rid of our cool rares.
Yeah.
I've never seen these cards before.
This is a mess of a turn.
Good thing we have another one lined up.
I I'm wondering if we have to use Blessing of the Forge here.
Wait, so just to make sure that I'm completely right in thinking that when we cast Vault, we're not going to get attacked for that large amount of damage,
They
are
will
we?
keep all of their intents and everything, and then our turn starts again. Is basically what
Okay.
happens.
Okay. So you can't use it to like skip scary turns.
No, you can't like skip the Heart's debuff turn, for example, or anything like that.
Right, okay.
I've upgraded the cards because it felt like this was a decent time to use a potion, so I just clicked on it.
I love that logic. Oh my god, that sound effect, it caught me by surprise. I wasn't ready for it. I'm sorry. I'll try and be more professional.
I screwed up one thing. Volt ends your turn and Meditate ends your turn, so we can't Meditate here.
Oh.
But we can Volt. And then we can look for help. for hell. Vigilance seems like a good idea. And then we're in calm, and we have like water, so we take 2 in the end.
Not so bad. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
Vault
be-
really did a lot of work there.
1 because of Tori, actually.
Right.
I'd be
I
very
think
upset.
so. I haven't been paying as much attention to the details of combat as I'm sure you have. Has that been like our first Tori proc?
I think so.
Because it feels like, as you were kind of predicting, we're getting hit for like 20 or for 0.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't remember one before then.
I didn't laugh at that Wrath proc. Are you proud of me? I'm proud of you. I just wanted to know if you also were
I'm
proud
never
of me.
gonna be able to play this character again. Thank you for the 3 months, Lord Magistrate. Well, Meditate's upgraded. That's cool.
Nice.
Tranquility is an interesting card. When this character came out, I was talking about how like there was a lot of accessibility for Calm, and so you had a bunch of infinites. There were like 3 cards that were just Tranquility with like 1 word different. And now there's now only Tranquility remains. But it retains, it enters Calm for 1 energy, and then it exhausts. I really have no idea if this card is a good thing to have or not. So it costs us the 1 card draw early, but it gives us the reliable way to exit Wrath. It seems like a valuable thing to have. Exit Wrath reliably. Cameraman, thanks for the 2 months. We'll show to you too. Bowling Bash is fine. We talked about that before. I think Follow Up is not so great. Bowling Bash seems like a really good thing to have for the Act 2 Elite fights, actually. Maybe just take that for that reason. Slavers and Gremlin Leader in particular.
Right, yeah.
Wonder if we can kill Spheric Guardian before it takes a turn. Flurry of Blows, Eruption, Flurry of Blows.
In my head, all I'm thinking is get ready for Eruption to be played.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
I think part of what it is the way that Discord's audio is working is like, if you are speaking, it lowers the game volume behind you. So if you're speaking and you play that card, it's not that big a deal. Not that it's a big deal either way, but you know what I'm saying. It's kind of a big deal.
It sounds like it might be kind of a big deal. Crushed that fight though.
We sure did.
Second Lake Water. We could have had 4 of these by now. Brilliance is fascinating. There's a rare power, Deva form. It's the Watcher form power. 3 energy. At the start of each turn, you gain 1 energy for however many turns this has been in play for, is basically what it does. So an extra energy, then 2 extra energy, then 3 extra, then 4 extra. There's a bunch of scry in the class. So if you ever draw Brilliance, you can't discard it. There's no way to discard it in the class, I don't believe. But if you successfully scry Brilliance out of your draw pile over and over again, you get to spend 50 turns waiting for Deva form to be a full heal.
Right. Gosh. Those words, waiting to full heal, just like sent me down such a memory lane.
Yeah.
Interesting decision to bring those right back into this game.
I'm gonna take Lake Water, because Lake Water. We don't have to go to campfires anymore, presumably, because we never take damage and we upgrade all of our cards without going to campfires. That's cool.
I see the logic there, yeah.
Might take damage though here.
Right, I was very curious what was going to happen in the fight right after you said we never take damage anymore, but I have more belief in you than that.
I think I like making a draw 2 cards in my deck more than I like whatever the other thing it was that I was allowed to do. I don't remember what it was.
I can't contribute anything to that thought.
Alright. We go Insight, we go Tantrum, Flurry of Blows, Smash Whip. What am I being attacked for here? 6 times 3, right? 6 times 3. Strike. Let me just take 6 one time.
Just one time. Promise it's the last time.
And grab Lesson Learned and like whatever the highest damage card is. I think Flurry of Blows we want to have in our hand. So Meditate lets us retain 2 cards because we upgraded it and puts us in Calm so we don't take a bunch of damage. Gin Fizzes. Thanks for the 10 months. Pagito Ergo Sum. Gin Fizzes, I legally have to ban you for that.
I thought that the donations haven't finished if you legally have to ban them or not. The jury's still out.
Maybe true.
I mean, I guess it is your channel.
No, it's true. Although, we did just get a $100 donation from Anonymous for ban Page and criminalize its use. So that campaign is picking up some steam.
What's the breakdown now for those keeping track at home?
It's actually up to 9%. 9% support. Also, we're at $4,912 total raised only on Tiltify, not counting the stuff on my stream as well, which means that we are less than $100 away from me admitting that !dig is a good relic. That's the next milestone, which is something I will never admit because it's not true. Absolutely not true. We got a couple of other donations. Lizard Eats Fly donated $102.02 and said trans rights. Thank you very much, Lizard Eats Flies, for that incredible donation. Joe.
Hell yeah, Liz. Thank you so much.
Joe donated $10, said fuck yes, trans rights. I actually said star, but I
was gonna say, how did you know?
I'll artistic's license on my part.
Sure.
I'm gonna donate more through my work directly to the charity since it gets matched that way. Oh, that's an awesome idea. Yeah, if anybody is thinking maybe their work would match charitable donations, definitely check that out if you're thinking about donating for the charity. But I want to see us smash this donation goal. Oh, we got it. We're getting there. Orkarama donated $100. Thank you, Orkarama. Cheers, Jorbs. Nice to see you supporting this. It's a topic I'm woefully ignorant of and trying to better educate myself. Watching from Europe at bedtime, Jorbs love. Orkarama, I think that so many people in the world don't know a huge amount about what it means to be a transgender person, and it's something that can be difficult to learn about, especially if you're surrounded by other people who don't know that much. And so taking the effort to educate yourself, I think, is just a really, really awesome thing to be doing. And so thank you for that. And thank you for the donation. I think there's nothing wrong with not knowing about something that nobody has ever taught you about, right? And this is something that, oh my gosh, somebody just donated $1,000.
Yeah, I think there's one more donation worth mentioning.
Yeah. Thank you for the 15 months subbed, Python Prime. Agbamusho to you as well. Oh, your $1,000 will get matched by your work? That's really, really cool. Astrabler, that's awesome. Niablis donated $1,000 and said !dig. Now some of you have watched this channel for a while and may know about !dig. Exclamation mark dig is a relic in Slay the Spire, which can be used at campfires to give you other relics. And it is an incredible, powerful, and very, very good relic. Probably the most powerful relic in the game. It's one of those relics where the only people who will tell you that dig has a downside are the sorts of people who say that like Dead Branch has a downside because it clutters your deck, right? But dig clutters your relics. It turns out that's usually an upside. Thank you for the $7.98 ticker rat. Donations are coming in faster than I can read them. Rounding out those numbers again, trans rights are human rights. Absolutely. And Scorcher, thank you for the $30 donation. Scorcher says, trans rights! Thank you, Scorcher.
Trans rights.
Okay.
So Steve, is this acceptance of exclamation point dig as the best relic in the game, is this like a one-time acceptance, or when asked by Twitch chat for your opinion on exclamation point dig, are you going to stick to your story, or are we
Once
going
you
to,
say anything on the internet, it's permanent. Like, you can't get rid of that. I was aware as I said that it was permanent, and that's just my life now.
Perfect.
You're also supporting ban Paj if you can do that. It should have given you an option when you donated. Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh.
Does it work?
If people haven't been able to support banning Paj, we're gonna need a recount.
Oh,
The
yeah,
only fair way to
no.
do this.
Well, what we could do is we could just assume that all of the ones that didn't specifically say one way or the other were meant to be saying ban Paj.
That's an excellent point.
That
My
might
thought
be our
was if we
responsibility.
don't have a way to know, what we could do as like the most equitable for all parties involved way of figuring this out, could flip a coin. But I like your approach too.
Flipping a coin's also a reasonable replacement for fair elections, yeah. Smurf, thanks for the 29 months. Agbamusho to you as well. How do you think Cut Through Fate's been so far? It's been okay, right?
It feels like the kind of card that, I don't know, I feel like there's some cards that are just kind of like, it's just nice to have a couple of them. And they just kind of help the deck hum along. But I also haven't been, you know, paying too much attention to exactly what cards you're playing every turn.
I think we can take another Cut Through Fate. What do we take, like 6 damage from Book of Stabbing? It's not so bad.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, Naj. Ooh. Tantrum's pretty solid here against a bird.
That's true, huh?
You played PUBG with Nick and I, right? Oh no, you were going to play PUBG with Nick, but then he couldn't make it that day.
I played Apex with you.
Oh yes.
And Vandy, I think.
It was going to be Nick, but it ended up being Vandy because Nick couldn't make it, yeah.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Which was a ton of fun. Nick qualified for the World Finals for PUBG.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes.
Congrats to him.
Super cool.
When are you going to qualify for the World Finals of Slay the Spire?
I am the World Finals of Slay the Spire. I am the World Finals of Slay the Spire, Jessica. 36 plus 14 is 50. We already got Lesson Learned off. Lesson Learned is like, it's happening basically every fight without having to try that hard, I feel like.
It really has. Solid. Yeah, it's been surprisingly smooth sailing.
Get a chance to take a Protect. I think we take a Protect. If it turns out that Protect is really bad. Well, I haven't found out that it is yet, so maybe I'll find out this run. Now with Preserved Insect, I assume that we fight more elites.
Seems like a logical conclusion.
Are there other streamers collecting donations for Trans Lifeline with me? A lot of people raised money for Trans Lifeline earlier this month. National Coming Out Day was on the... I wish I remembered exactly. I think the 12th, I believe. And a Supreme Court case for worker rights for trans people started out on the 8th. And so a lot of people were doing charity drives then. And then the 30th is, I believe, the anniversary of the Trans Lifeline. So I think a lot of people are doing campaigns then. So there have been and will be a lot more streamers doing fundraising for Trans Lifeline over the course of the month. But I'm not sure that anybody else is exactly right now. Is the answer? Foresight. Lesson learned actually works on minions as well, but I don't think we can kill any minions this turn. Unless a colorless card?
Wait, does it exhaust?
It does exhaust, yeah.
Ooh. Oh, but we can get Hand of Greed instead.
Oh, but this kills them outright. It doesn't work. It deals too much.
Oh, was that not the plan? My apologies.
I wanted to lesson learned one of them, but it didn't work.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Why didn't it work? What? It didn't work.
It didn't work?
It doesn't work.
Didn't do the thing.
It must be so upsetting to just be sitting there waiting to attack the Watcher. Soon I'll get to. Alright. Next donations for this charity event are for me to make coaching content on YouTube. So if anybody's interested in seeing me coach Slay the Spire, at 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, I'll do another coaching session with a viewer. If you are somebody who's donated to Tiltify especially and reach out to me, perhaps I will choose you. I'll have to do some sort of randomization of who to choose exactly. And yeah, we can like do a run of Slay the Spire together and try to do some sort of educational content around it.
I mean, I'm learning a ton, so I can definitely endure the benefits of sitting in a call with Steve as he tells you how to be a good player at this game.
So Eruption, Strike plus, it's 36, 45, 51, 61. That's enough. So
but does it teach?
Lesson learned.
Oh, because we're going to leave the stance and get
more energy. Oh, this actually deals even more damage. Easy. Easy. Too easy. Chin fizzes. Flying Sleeves is, I think, my favorite early game damage common. I'm not sure that we take it now, but I was talking about how you have some damage cards that retain, and so you can pair them up with your Wrath Turns, and Flying Sleeves is definitely one of those. Just a solid little attack. Take another Foresight. I don't think we need a second when we already have 1 and 8.
Yeah, it definitely seems like an effect you want exactly one copy of.
It does add up, so you get to scry 7 at once instead of scrying like 4 and then 3. Right? I think it adds up. Yeah, I don't think we really need another of those though. What's the Spiral Relic? This is Fossilized Helix. We prevent the first time that we take damage every turn. Or every fight, rather. Foresight, like water. Bolts. Jorbs is our father figure, and I love disappointing him. It's nice to have a brand. I think, looking back on it, I could have chosen a different one, but
But where's the fun in that?
yeah. Awful lot of like attacks and wrath and stuff, and the rest of this draw pile. Like bowling bash kills another one. I think they just all die before they get to move. I did not learn a lesson yet, though.
I'm kind of wondering, like, it seems like we're having a deck that just cruises through these kind of fights where enemies have like 50 to 100 health or so. But I'm wondering how bosses are gonna work out. I guess that probably is a pretty big part of the Watcher conundrum.
Yes, welcome to the Watcher indeed. And it's, in my opinion, is the worst feeling in the game to play a run where you like just have a bunch of really easy fights and then you die.
Right.
Sly TQ, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. I'm joined right now by Jessica of TheMunchdown, another accomplished Slay the Spire player. And I'm giving her the rundown on the Watcher at the moment.
And I'm joined by Jorbs, and this is his channel.
Correct. We're raising money for Trans Lifeline today. Trans Lifeline is a support line staffed by trans people for trans people. So it's a super good cause. Well, you're welcome, Slime. Thanks again for the raid. Mental Fortress. I don't think we've seen this one yet. Whenever you change stances, gain 4 block.
I do quite like that art.
Oh, it's like a brain with a castle on top of it.
Yeah, it's a castle built on top of a brain.
I only just got that.
I'm glad that I can contribute something to this like education transfer here.
Very, very good art. All right, I'll click on it. I feel like the class has a bunch of like powerful conditional metallicizes, and I'm not that sure how much I'm meant to be playing into those or not.
Yeah. Man, that sound effect, just when I thought I had gotten over it, comes out of left field. I stole that laugh. I didn't deserve that laugh from me.
So if we play Tantrum, Tantrum will be in our draw pile still, and then Meditate can grab this one. Is this one? Could be right. This innate volt is pretty interesting. Yeah, it seems strong.
It does feel like we've been drawing it on turn 1 an awful lot.
We don't have that many cards in our deck, I feel like. I feel like we draw a lot of our deck on turn 1. Was Foresight not upgraded yet? Fascinating. I was like certain that was upgraded already.
Yeah, is that normally like a priority upgrade? Especially if it's innate?
Seems like it would be.
Right,
Oh.
I feel like that was the most leading question I've asked all day.
There was the one fight where it upgraded automatically from the potion. And ever since that fight, I think I've just thought that it was upgraded.
Oh, sure.
Does Flurry of Blows come back anyway with Meditate changing stance? It just gets discarded immediately. Yeah. It does come back, but Meditate forces an end of your turn, which will discard it. Look at that art!
That's beautiful.
It's like the worst card for the class.
Yeah, it's too bad you're never going to take it, but it is a pretty card.
It's not that bad anymore, actually. 2 damage for 18? Or 2 energy for 18 damage? I think the damage numbers on both of these cards have been buffed since the class came out. I think Smites used to be 10 and Carve Reality used to be 4. Do I think it's fair that Watcher gets taken extra turn after this one as a rare when Silent gets take 2 extra turns after this one as a rare that upgrades to 3 extra turns?
It's an excellent point. When you put it like that...
Wraithform's a bit of a card. I think Sanctity is just backflip, and backflip's pretty good. I'm okay with backflip.
Sure.
Oh, this Vault.
This vault is so well behaved. It's incredible.
Did I ruin everything? I think I'm gonna take damage.
Seems less likely he'll take damage now.
Is it just very greedy to be trying to lesson learned this turn? Should I just not do that?
No, you should definitely lesson learned in every combat. I had a problem whenever I got Feed in my deck. It was like the game no longer was Slay the Spire once I had a Feed in my deck. It was just like a sequence of games of solitaire of how can I play Feed in this fight, no matter what the cost was. And I think I preferred that game to regular
Really?
Slay the Spire. It's
an upgrade.
Again to support you, Jessica.
I loved getting feed
the
value.
Watcher, the best Slay the Spire character.
Personal Matthew donated $25. Need to donate again to support you, Jessica, Trans Rights, and of course, The Watcher, the best Slay the Spire character. There was no donation incentive for me to say that. Just that.
Thank you, Personal Matthew. That's very kind of you.
Thank you very much for the $25 donation. Rushdown, Battle Hymn, Foresight. These are all powers that do something mediocre. Whenever you enter Wrath, draw 2 cards. Is that like really strong, maybe? Try it.
Yeah, and Rushdown does, as Chat's pointing out, kind of sound like Munchdown, so, I mean, gotta take it.
And we just picked up a Mummified hand, so 0 cost power suddenly has some extra implied value. Liquid Bronze for the heart. Finally found some damage that could be useful in Act 4. I think I like my potions.
It's convenient that we've, like, sorted our deck to have all of our powers and Vault at the front of
you
it.
like that?
It's a pretty neat little trick.
It's just, I remember that Lagavulin fight made the wrong play, and since then I've been trying to make the right play instead.
You've really picked it up. I gotta give credit where credit's due.
So this is gonna be
Also,
a turn.
I don't know if my microphone is picking up, but there's like police sirens, which I'm sure is because they've detected what you're doing with the stacking the deck, Steve.
Are you possibly just hearing the sound effect when I enter Wrath form?
I can tell you right now, I'm probably gonna be like hearing that sound as I try to fall asleep every night for the rest of my life.
Yeah, it's like being on a boat and then trying to sleep afterwards.
Right.
Just hear the fucking people yelling boat all the time. Boat, boat. I've never been on a boat, I'm not sure. says,
I
become
have been on a
parent.
boat before, and the worst part about it, I have to agree, was everybody repeatedly chanting boat over and over.
Yeah. There's no way to enter Wrath in the sand. Not sure what that's all about. Alright.
Good thing we can enter Wrath on the Hyper Beam turn. Or not the Hyper Beam turn. Okay, never mind.
Oh no, we're way faster than that. I understand you thinking that it was time for Hyper Beam given having killed all of the ads and stuff, but no. This is the Watcher, not one of those inferior classes.
Right. My apologies.
We even don't lose our buffer stack yet. They'll have that. My problem with Scry is that I very rapidly reach a point where I just discard everything.
Yeah, I definitely... Reprogram is a card I love the idea of, but I hate actually having to, like, make decisions and click on cards. And it just feels like, well, these cards could be decent. Sure, let's keep them there. These cards, whatever, let's get rid of them. It's kind of like, I have pretty much always avoided, I think it's Frozen Eye, the one that lets you
don't tell
sort your
Twitch
deck.
chat. Don't tell Twitch chat about Frozen Eye.
Okay.
Twitch chat loves
Well, there's this
Frozen
relic.
Eye.
But let's call it Chilly Eyeball. That used to be in the game, but isn't anymore. And I just would like never take it because I just didn't want to deal. It's too much.
Yeah, I have a YouTube run where I take Frozen Eye in the store right before the Act 3 boss fights, less than halfway through the total time of the run. Like,
I believe it.
oh,
It's the importance of avoiding eye contact at all costs.
I
A
don't wanna
lesson that I'm sure many of us can relate to.
I don't want to have to ban you, Jessica. Don't you know that as long as you don't value your time, it's the best relic in the game? That's fair. Hey.
Got some new cards
New
I haven't
cards.
seen before.
Master Reality is fascinating. It's like a card that exists only to make Dead Branch better. The devs were like, well, Dead
I can
Branch doesn't have
imagine-
many synergies.
Right. I can imagine it's like I just picture like, you know, people in suits sitting around a table like Dead Branch desperately needs help. How can we improve this underrated relic?
There's somebody at the head of the table with like a graph.
Exactly.
Drawing frantically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Establishment. Whenever a card is retained, reduce its cost by 1 this combat. This is one of the most... This is like the card that everybody talks about when they play Watcher, because taking a bunch of your cards and they cost 0 is really strong.
Right.
It actually works with Meditate too. When we retain a card with Meditate, that counts. So we could retain a card that doesn't have Retain and make it cost 0. Ragnarok is Ragnarok. I'm not sure. I don't think I even mentioned Wreath of Flame when we saw it. Wreath of Flame is a skill.
It crossed my mind because there was Wreath of Flame
Yeah.
and we talked about the other two quite a bit. And even I, who don't know shit about the character, was like, oh, that card looks like trash. And here we are.
Well, it does make your nest attack deal 5 more damage, and Ragnarok would therefore deal 25 more damage. In Wrath form, Ragnarok would deal 100 by itself.
So why did you skip it then?
What beats 100 damage in this game? Nothing I can think of. I think we just take
101
Establishment.
damage, but... Is Ragnarok, like, ever... Like, so looking at it, my first thought was, this card is not very good. Is that thought right? Like, are there
if you get
ways that you can make it
Snecko Eye
really
and
good?
stuff.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Sure.
It's pretty good with like Snecko Eye and a Shuriken or something like that. Necronomicon. It's
Okay.
good in the same types of situations that Bludgeon is good in, I guess, a lot of the time.
Right.
I think we can take Coffee Dripper for Act 3. When was the last time we took damage?
That's an excellent question. I mean, I want to say it was the 6 damage from Book of Stabbing. and
Yeah,
that
I
was
think you're right.
Yeah.
I think that was it for the act. We can probably take Coffee Dripper then, right?
Go for it.
Oh, do you know about Akabeko? Moo, by the way.
So people were very excited to tell me about it streaming, and I didn't see it myself. All I know is that it is a cute cow, and that's pretty much all I think I need to know.
It's
The
cute.
level of gameplay I'm bringing these days.
Cute. It's violent. That's what it is. It's a violent cow.
Oh, I was told it was cute, and that's the
Well-
headcanon I would prefer to believe.
I'll allow it. Akabeko makes it so... Just play everything, right? Except for meditate. Akabeko makes it so your first attack of every combat deals 8 additional damage. And so Akabeko Ragnarok can be one of those things that is terrible but can win the run while being terrible.
Sure.
Or like Claw. A little bit like Claw.
Yeah, what's the opinion on the old claw these days? How often do your winning defect decks have claws in them, would you say?
I think less than they used to, but it might just be that I'm getting worse. I don't know. I feel like the more that I've played, the less I've done stuff that seems unique and interesting, and the more I've just done the thing that seems like obviously right.
Right, yeah.
And Claw does not seem obviously right a whole lot of the time. Talk to the Hand's a very, very, very powerful card. I think Talk to the Hand shows up in an awful lot of Watcher decks that beat the Heart.
That's really interesting. So it like applies a status to them for the rest of
Yeah.
combat, essentially?
So unfortunately, like Time Eater will cleanse it, and Awakened One will cleanse
Right.
it.
And it needs to
And-
get through Artifact, I'm assuming?
Yeah, Donu Deka will block it with Artifact. But against the Heart specifically, this card's insane.
That, I definitely can see that.
You have released version 0.22 of the mod with a machine-generated French translation for chat's enjoyment. Wonderful, Bros Mike. Oh dear. Did you see me playing my modded character? Twitch
I
chat's
saw,
modded
so
character?
I had to miss like a little bit of it in the middle. But it was incredible. I really enjoyed watching it.
I'm not sure that it counts as mine anymore. I think Twitch chat might have ownership of it now.
Right. Well, what doesn't Twitch chat have ownership of, honestly?
I got nothing. Oh, we actually shouldn't have played Protect because it has Retain. I'm bad. Whoops. I think it's fine.
We gotta learn that lesson, though.
What's your opinion of the Watcher so far? As we are...
What's my opinion of the Watchers so far? It definitely seems like a really interesting class. And I'm sure my opinion is partially swayed by kind of what you've told me about it in general, but I can definitely see how it leads to, especially early on, very like high variance in how well it does. And so from a perspective of somebody who loves this game and is a big fan of it, like the complexity and the ability to do cool things with it seems really high and really fantastic. from the perspective of somebody who knows what it's like to sit with a hand of like 8 different cards that do super complicated things, and you have to figure out the right order and do the math right with hundreds of people watching you and ready to laugh at you for the tiniest misplays, it kind of like gives me conniptions to picture doing that. So that's kind of where I'm at so far with the Watcher.
I've had more like backseating with card selection with the Watcher than I have with actual gameplay.
That's fair. I could see that being the case.
I've definitely made plenty of mistakes in my gameplay too. But it's still, I guess, in its infancy, and people have different ideas about what the right way to play it is. You should play a different card, Jorbs. I played all of them. Played every card. I guess also, like, there's a lot less room for backseating what cards somebody plays if they trade Boss Relic and then play every card that they draw for the next, like, 3 acts.
That's a fair point, yeah. Yeah, so I heard something about the pool of boss relics was reworked to remove, like, the healing ones. And there's some new ones. So, like, is it true
Cursed
that...
Bell is different now.
Oh, what does Curse Bell do now?
It gives you 1 unique curse instead of giving you 3 random curses. It gives you... It's sort of like a Necronomic curse, except that you can exhaust it, but you can't remove it.
So do you find that, like, with the change, I'm guessing, although, I mean, of course, I'm kind of out of the loop here. Like, when I heard about that, my thought was like, oh, they want to make sure that, you know, I think in times past, a complaint some people had was like, sometimes you just don't get energy relics, and that doesn't feel very good. So you have to scribe before you can do that.
This is... Alright.
Incredible. Just a work of art.
Yeah, it does seem like you can very reliably... Well, actually, you still miss 4 energy in Act 2 a decent amount of the time. Surprisingly large amount of the time. I thought you'd get 4 energy in Act 2 like every time now, but you still don't.
Right.
Who do I think would win in a 1v1 brawl, Wanderer or Watcher with a 1 square kilometer of flat ground to fight in? The Watcher. Instant answer. Certain of it. Thank
I would think
you.
in a 1 kilometer of square ground to fight in, the Watcher could just, like, wait 7 turns for the Wanderer to snap, and that'd be that.
No, the Wanderer would, like, play some crazy thing and then everything would blow up. It would be great.
Oh.
it would be awesome. What is...
It would be awesome.
What is Snecko in French? Gecko... Cobra? Gecko Cobra.
Yeah, that's right, Gecko Cobra.
There's no Snecko on this channel anymore. There is only Gecko Cobra. This is... Tiniest Little Dot. Thank you very much for the $20 donation. Tiniest Little Dot says, thank you so much for doing the stream, Jorbs. I have had an awful time this year struggling with being gender non-conforming, and your stream has been a huge comfort to me for months now, especially your 100 heart kills in 30 days challenge was there for me in a really dark time. Hey, you're welcome. I'm so happy that this stream can be a positive thing for your life. And I hope that stuff gets better for you. I think it will. I think it will. Trooper K, thank you for the $20 donation. Trooper K says, I know this doesn't look too impressive after all these big... Oh, come on. $20 is a lot of money. After all these big donations, but as I am a college student, this is all I got. I appreciate it a lot. Had the chance to stay in Dublin for half a year and was able to witness such a pro-LGBT community. Hoping my donation can help support that future everywhere. Love you, Jorbs. Love you too, Trooper K. Thank you very much. The Darkest donated $30 and said coaching sounds fun. It does. Yes, it's Play donated $20. Thank you for running this charity stream. Of course. And Kurt donated $15. Thank you, Kurt. Kurt donated to enable Paj.
Interesting.
Can somebody find the Paj that's on Discord and like private message to me on Discord so I can show it to people so that they know what they're like getting themselves into? Huh, is meal ticket for the 15-point heal here and then at the store in Act 4 better than an average relic from this chest? I think it might be. That 30 health seems really nice.
Especially, yeah, having it for, oh wait, never mind. It's not, the shop is before the elite fight, not after it. Okay,
Yeah, it's
scratch
before.
that thought.
But we'll still go into that act at less than full health, and we can't rest at campfires, right? Because of Coffee Dripper. Yeah.
Right. No, it seems perfectly cromulent to me.
If Jessica and Baylor were tangled in a brawl to death and I had to shoot the evil twin to save the world, which would I shoot and why?
I was gonna ask you, I was gonna nudge you to read that question, so I'm glad you did
Okay.
it unprompted.
Basic firearm safety tip. If you are discharging a firearm in somebody's direction, you have to be okay with killing that person. So if I'm going to be shooting into that brawl, I'm just going to be going for broke. Let's get both of them. There's no... Guns aren't toys, okay? Like, this is a serious commitment to make.
You heard it here first. Jorbs has schemes to get a monopoly on Slay the Spire streaming, and will stop at nothing until other streamers have been shot by his hands.
Literally what I said, if I remember correctly.
That was a quote, verbatim.
Yes, verbatim is Latin.
And what is Snickoi in Latin?
I think just Gecko Cobra. I think it's Gecko Cobra in every other language. Sort of like pineapple is ananas in every single other language except for English.
Right.
Another thing about Watcher is, like, I often feel like, okay, my deck's really good against the hallway fights. I can kill the hallway fights. I'm doing just fine there. I need to make sure that I'm good against the bosses. And then I, like, look at the card rewards and it's like, well, this doesn't help, and this doesn't help. And this one
I
doesn't
haven't
help.
really seen too many cards that, like, when I look at them, I see the application of being good anti-boss tools.
Talk to the hand, I think. I'm hoping the, like, 3 like waters will do something for us. I guess lesson learned every fight certainly scales your deck up in a way that's going to be useful against the boss. Struggle with it a little bit, though.
I could see it being, I always felt like that was one of the most frustrating feelings in the game, of like having a run that starts off very solid and then just the feeling of like being on Ironclad and not getting any strength or any, you know, exhaust synergy combos to go for, and just kind of feeling like, oh, I guess this run is just kind of gonna peter out now that it doesn't have any way to get better in fights.
Yeah. Yes, I can relate to that as a Watcher main for the last month.
Do you run some of the like Watcher fan forums where people go and discuss their favorite parts of playing the new hit character, the Watcher?
Do they have any of those? Like, realistically?
They could!
How much is there to discuss?
Well, how many cards are there, just to start with?
I have no idea. Playable ones or like... No, I don't go on the internet anymore. It's a dangerous place.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
I noticed that the one time that I don't draw a vault, straight away, nobody makes any comments.
I was gonna make a comment about in one of the fights, I'm pretty sure Volt's like the dead last card in our deck. I'm there for the highs and the lows.
Is this hand actually really good? I think all 4 of those cards together are really good. We go like Mental Fortress first, then we like Flurry and Vigilance and Flurry, and then Tantrum draws a bunch of cards and gets back Flurry. That was a lot of damage, right?
That was a pretty solid turn.
Oh, I think it's, yeah, I think it's dead.
It does look pretty dead.
Lesson learned that.
I'm glad you remembered. Okay. Well, this will be a fun way to be exposed to more Watcher cards.
I'm gonna take Bolt if that's okay with you. You think
Please
we
do.
take Dead Branch here? I feel like Dead Branch is at its worst on Watcher because Watcher decks really want the right proportions of like 4 different things. Like I need the card draw, I need the calm, I need the wrath, I need the scaling. So much different
I've
stuff
heard-
to juggle.
I've heard in many a Twitch chat that it can clog your hand and deck. Is that
Okay,
something that's
you're
true?
memeing on me, okay. She's memeing on me. She's memeing on me.
I'm kind of loving this era where like, I am back on Twitch, but I'm not like trying to make a living streaming, so I can just like take the inner like lover of shitposting in chat and just like do it with no qualms everywhere. Cause like, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna ruin my reputation? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you
It's a
ask
good feeling.
literally any streamer, like if you won the lottery today, if you had $10 million, you never had to work again for the rest of your life, what would you do instead of streaming? I think every single one of them would shitpost in Twitch chat. Just
It's
wake
just
up,
so true.
get started in the morning, get going early, breakfast at 10, more shitposting, lunch, shitpost, dinner, shitpost, sleep. And that would just be my life.
Sounds perfect.
I mean their life. I'm talking about other people, not me.
Yeah, you'd be too busy shooting me and Balorlord.
that statement was not admissible in court. I bought orange pellets without talking about it because it's orange pellets.
Right, of course, as one does.
Eternal Feathers more sustain if we think we need more sustain. I think we just go to the next store with 260 gold. I got rid
Yeah,
of the
have we
strike.
taken damage yet in this act?
No. not
Okay,
even
I didn't
close.
think so, but yeah.
Not even close.
Have there been many patches over the past like several months of the game's life? Because like I feel like just recently there's all these new potions and relics. Have there been many changes, or has it been? I guess the Watcher has been like what a lot of their efforts are focused on, huh?
Trying to remember.
Because that was one thing that I really liked about streaming this game. So I didn't like start playing Slay the Spire when it like was first out in early access. Like there's definitely people who were playing it before I was. But I really enjoyed how like there was a time when Ascension 10 was the hardest and people had to kind of figure out how to, you know, adjust to that. And then it was Ascension 15 and then Ascension 20 and then the heart. And so there's like constantly harder content as we all improved.
Yeah, I guess
That's something that I kind of miss about the game, which I think I mean, there's not really a solution to per se, but there's something I really valued and loved.
there's There was a time when Ascension 15 was the hardest difficulty, where there just hadn't been content that made Ascension 15 harder at all, and there had been a bunch of buffs to unusable cards for a really long time, and the game was starting to creep up to get easier and easier, and people who had been like winning maybe 60% of the time are now winning maybe 90% of the time. And it does feel a little bit like we're in one of those cycles where win rates are like slowly creeping up as things are getting buffed. I'm not sure. I know that devs don't want Ascension 20 to be beatable more than half the time. And I feel like if I really try hard at Ascension 20 right now, I would be beating it more than half the time. I don't know if they're planning on new difficulty adding content or anything like that. I'm not sure.
They're gonna try and keep you preoccupied with more Ascensions to save me and Valor Lord.
Do you not play Ascension 20? Oh, I see. Because otherwise I see. I see
You'd
what
be
you're
shooting
saying.
at us. Yeah, that was yeah, that's what I was going for.
Again, not admissible in court.
I don't know. I got like 1800.
It's interesting. I didn't feel like I had that much exhaust in this deck, but a lot of the cards that like get created end up exhausting, and actually Dead Branch is showing up quite a bit. Also, we have Mummified Hand, so all of the powers
Yeah,
that we're
was
making are
definitely a
really
nice-
good.
Yeah, we definitely have accumulated some very strong relics in this pile we have here.
Deceive Reality is a very powerful card, I think. So, like, at worst, it's 2 energy, blocks 16 for, like, that just doesn't seem like it is reasonable to have it on uncommon by itself, but then also you can keep the second half of it until a turn where you need it, which is even stronger. Thanks for the 100 bits, Mike
Right.
Chester. They'll nerf attack and defend to kill you off at 4-1 50% of the time. I hope so. Hope so. I have no idea. None of this seems that important. Ragnarok like hits hard, I guess, but I'm not excited. Does Lesson Learned hit Dead Branch cards? It does not.
What was that relic that we just skipped? I
Oh,
hadn't seen
Ink
it.
Bottle. Ink Bottle is like water or talk to a hand. Ink Bottle is a new relic. For every 10 cards you play, you draw a card. It's actually really strong. Like Bag of Prep's pretty good for 2 additional cards on turn 1, and Ink Bottle regularly gets you a lot more than 2 cards over the course of a fight. I've been impressed by it.
Yeah, it does sound like a nice effect to have. Especially when you've decided to build the Shiv archetype when you're silent.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Ooh, Sash Whip. Oh, that actually does something too, because I get to gain 3 block from that. Boom. She's saying things to trigger me. Jessica couldn't trigger me. Jessica's a sweetheart. All of the things that she
Oh,
says are
shit.
like, they're from a place of love. It's too obvious. You gotta... I don't know. I don't know how you undo it. The years of like kindness and goodwill.
Is that also how you felt in that beautiful Stardew Valley stream that we had?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm glad to hear it.
Deva form! Oh, it's gone.
There was one brief moment.
Collect is here instead. Deva form. Look at how many arms she has.
It's like so many arms.
Wait, her staff is like shaking.
Oh my god. Is that because of... Is that what happens when she's in Rat?
I guess so. I feel sort of uncomfortable though. Ooh, Miracle works with Dead Branch. Beautiful.
So does Watcher have any like innately broken combos with orange pellets, the way that like bias cognition, you know, is kind of like the poster child for making orange pellets just absolutely crazy? Are there anything like that for Watcher?
Fasting, I think, would be the simplest one. The power that takes away 1 of your energy every turn and gives you 3 strength and 3 dex.
Right. That makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah, there are also... Yang is a class-specific relic, right? Yes, it must be, because I haven't seen it on the other classes. There's a relic where for every attack that you play in a turn, you gain 1 dexterity until the end of the turn, and the opposite for skills, you gain 1 strength until the end of the turn. So you can use orange pellets to remove the take it away at the end of turn thing for that.
That's great.
In my experience, that actually isn't as strong as it seemed like it would be to me, because I run out of powers to proc orange pellets with. Like, it turns out it's actually pretty hard to proc orange pellets more than like 3 times in a fight, because you just play all of your powers the first time you draw them, pretty much.
Right. That's one thing that I mean, I think orange pellets are incredibly powerful, but I do like the fact that it adds a layer of deck building considerations to make sure that you actually have enough cards of each type. Like, I remember at times debating if I should remove a strike or not, because my deck only had like a few attacks left and I needed to trigger orange pellets consistently. Like, I kind of wish it weren't so incredibly powerful, because I really like it as a relic, but I feel bad loving a relic that's incredibly OP. Not that bad, but kind of bad. I don't know.
A little bit bad.
It's like, you can't say Dead Branch is your favorite relic, right? Because you're just...
Whenever people ask me what my favorite relic is, I'm like, what do you mean by favorite?
That's, you know what? I kind of forgot who I was talking with here.
Yeah. Well, if you mean like, do I enjoy winning?
Right.
Yes.
Which by favorite do you mean highest expected increase in win rate?
It sounds very Jorbs. I resemble that remark.
That's what I was going for. So thank you.
Actually, it's always shovel. Oh yeah. It's
Oh, of course.
Always shovel.
Of course.
Was always shovel, and it still always is.
Right.
No. Oh shit. Oh, I could have just played 3 skills. Didn't work out how to lesson learned there.
Well, I hope you learned your lesson.
I didn't learn my lesson. This is exactly
I guess that
the problem.
is the central problem, yeah.
Wheel Kick's another one you haven't seen yet. This is just Predator, but you don't draw the 2 cards next turn, you draw them this turn. Which turns out to be worse, which I was sort of surprised by. Instinctively, I thought, oh yeah, you got the cards earlier, so it'll be better. But it turns out that you've spent your energy that turn, so you can't really do anything with them.
Right. You draw into cards you can no longer play.
Yeah, a lot of the time. Have I played any visual novels? No, I was going to check out One Night Hot Springs. It's meant to be a cool, very transpositive visual novel. Has very good reviews. I have not played it myself. I feel like if I had it, would sort of spoil it, but yeah. Hopefully it will be good.
Yeah, I've played it. It's a very pleasant little game.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah, it also, I would say I think I beat it in like 15 minutes or 20 minutes, so
Okay.
I wouldn't get your whole evening planned out around playing it. And I also didn't like replay it to see other endings, but it was cute and it was, yeah.
Fair enough. If
Very
you have any
transpositive.
other suggestions, I could do an hour or 2 of visual novels, I think. Kunai seems really good. Horncleat. Have you seen the boat relics?
I have seen this one, but there's an S at the end of
Oh yes,
relics.
you haven't seen Captain's Wheel yet?
I don't think so.
It's very creative, the effect. At the start of your third turn, you gain 18 block. I've heard rumors that Outboard Motor is going to be released sometime soon. At the start of your fourth turn, you'll gain 22, but they haven't released it yet.
Right.
I think that Kunai is probably better than Hornclate. The only thing I will say is that Watcher does die on turn 2 or 3 against the heart a decent amount of the time. So because of that, Hornclate does sort of get exciting, but we have to beat like a Weekend one still, right? So I feel like Kunai is really good at that. Remove a strike, grab a Dark Shackles, I think is fine. Dark Shackles is pretty good.
So with how the deck currently is, how do you feel about our chances of defeating the various bosses ahead of us?
I really have no idea. We're
Okay.
gonna
I
find
guess
out
I would
together.
think Dead Branch is probably going to be like a pretty crucial factor what we end up pulling off that.
Indignation. Apply 3 vulnerable. I don't think I've ever had that card in my deck. Yeah, I really have no idea. I've had plenty of Watcher runs where I was like, oh, this deck's really sweet, and then I get to the boss fight and it's like, oh, I'm dead. Alpha.
Oh my god. Wait, does Omega like
Are you
does it
ready?
like do incredible damage to everything?
How did you know that? I was so... Was it so easy to tell? It's like the big surprise. Omega.
It's actually somewhat underwhelming. I was hoping, my first thought was like, oh, you play Omega and you just fight, but I guess that wouldn't be balanced.
I think we're actually taking damage here.
Do we still have our, what's it called?
Oh, no, we're not. We block for 18 automatically. Never mind.
Seems like a good thing to do.
No, we just barely didn't take any damage, yeah.
I think we also just barely didn't have to sacrifice our buffer stack. I think that's the other great thing. It's like, not only are we not taking damage, we're also not triggering our don't take damage relic.
I scried Omega to the bottom for later. Or rather,
Have we
into
cast
the
Lesson Learned?
discard
Oh no, it's in
pile.
our hand. Okay.
Lesson Learned is in our hand, but there it is. And a Kunai proc. And a Wreath of Flames.
Whew. Wreath
I
of Flames. I'm gonna
accidentally
pledge.
discarded Omega. Accidentally, come on. Concludes one you haven't seen yet. This is... It
Oh my
deals
god,
on...
that art. Oh my god.
It deals 12. It is very good art. I've never looked at that before. This is like
the
your
12
Dagger
base
Spray.
damage?
12 base damage, which is significantly better than Dagger Spray. Dagger Spray is 8 base damage, but it is an uncommon.
Yeah.
Okay, lesson learned already, I think.
Yeah, I wondered the same thing that Sia, is that their name, is asking, is can Lesson Learn upgrade something that Dead Branch gave us? Or is it like a card specifically in our deck?
It looks in this, in your draw pile
Okay,
here.
okay.
Or
Perfect.
deck pile. And it actually doesn't upgrade the card until after the combat. So for the rest of the combat, the card's actually the same.
Oh,
Looking at
that's
it,
kind of peculiar.
we got a good number of them upgraded, but somehow not all of them. Worship is... This upgrades to have Retain. So Worship is a pretty reliable way to pull off a Divinity turn when you want to.
Right.
I don't believe it's worth picking
Yeah,
here,
it doesn't
but
seem, to me it doesn't seem like it'd be worth trying to like pick that up as our only source of it on the 49th floor, but I also don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. If we put it together with like Meditate, we can get a Divinity turn on like turn 3 or something and kill the Act 4 elites with it. But we have to draw it in the right order and stuff. I'm very not confident in how good something like this is. Just don't know.
It does seem like extremely hard to evaluate.
Yeah, Deus Ex gives us 2 energy and 3 cards. I think that's good. They're random Watcher cards. You know most of the cards at this point.
That seems like a pretty good Dead Branch enabler.
I'm down. Let's try it. And if we die, we die. But at least we did it together.
So true.
That's, Oh, Scrawl is rare now. Okay. This is certainly a card.
Wow, it's like what Expertise wishes it could be.
There was a time when this was 0 cost uncommon. Yeah, I'm glad that you're on board with that with me. Alright, good.
Wow.
That was the expected and desired response. Yep.
Right, yeah.
Is that SpongeBob? I mean, who could say? Another thing that is not admissible in court. Yeah, when people were asking me if I was concerned about copyright with my mod character, anyway.
So now that you've played a modded character, do you feel like a new fondness for the idea of playing modded characters on stream? And are you going to become a mod character specialist?
Mod characters only?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it crashed my game to a point where I had to reinstall it after I played it, so that's always been my issue with modded characters. Like, I think a lot of them are at least interesting enough to play once, if not more than that. But if they're gonna crash my game, I start to lose interest pretty fast.
Seems reasonable.
Whenever you gain block this turn, apply 1 weak to all enemies. This is the sort of clunky gain weak or weaken enemies card that I was talking about earlier.
Oh, I first read that as a power and was like, that sounds incredible. But
no, just for this turn.
Just for this turn.
I think it's okay sometimes. I thought that I had talked to the hand on Time Eater, but apparently I didn't. We're being attacked for... Oh, we're in Wrath form. That's probably why. Because that's sort of a big number.
It's not as big as some of these incredibly generous donations, but it's up there.
Incredibly generous donation? What could you mean?
All day long. They've just been coming in non-stop.
Anonymous donated $50. Happy to see a fantastic streamer raising money for a fantastic cause. And Setek Astronomy donated $50. Hey Jorbs and Jessica, I really enjoy watching your joint streams. Thanks for the support for a great cause. Thank you both. Thank you very much, Setek. Thank you, Anonymous, again. Anonymous, is there... You know how there's like, you have to kill a certain number of people to be a serial killer? I assume that's just common knowledge. Is there like a certain number of donations to be a serial donator? 3. So is Anonymous now a serial donator?
I think we can definitely classify them as a serial donator now.
Well, thank you, Anonymous. It's a good thing to be. Good thing to be. Six cards this turn. I want both of those. Oops. Oops. I actually full.
But it just turned out perfectly.
Yeah, I
you always know
just I was
what
dead
to play,
there.
Steve.
No, yeah, sure. That was. Yep.
That's how we'll spin it.
That was deliberate in a way that redefines what deliberate even means. As long as I stay in
What does
calm.
deliberate mean now?
That thing that just happened.
Oh, okay.
As long as I stay in calm, I block for 19 at the end of every turn, so I don't know.
Yeah, is that how many copies of that card do we have? Is it
Three.
two?
Two of them are
3 copies of
upgraded.
it.
3
Okay.
total. Oh, you're debuffing, thingamajigging, clearing, cleansing. That's the word. A little bit awkward. What's the interaction between Volt and playing your 12th card? If you play your 12th card as Volt, it will just give you another turn, and Time Meter gains strength, I think. I'm pretty sure Time Meter gains strength. Would be a sweet there we go. Sweet time to find one of those.
Dead Branch has you covered. I guess it's nice too having our power that lets us scry 4 at the start of every turn for our like second and third times through the deck. Once it gets filled with Dead Branch cards,
Yeah,
we have like a way to fight through all the less exciting ones.
that's a very common problem with Dead Branch, right? I would generally recommend to a new player not to pick up Dead Branch, one of the less strong relics in the game, because it does that.
Right, that cloggage is just devastating.
I can't keep a straight face. F10 Theta! Thanks very much for the Twitch Prime. Gabomu show to you as well. Don't remember what's going on this turn. Oh, I can look. You can look now. I'm being attacked for
Oh,
like
yeah, I saw that,
126. Big number.
Gosh, I have such fond memories though, and I'm sure you do too, of like having one of those screens up and then like mouse wheel scrolling to try and move the cards out of the way so you could like get a glimpse of the intents and use it to deduce what was happening.
You gotta love
Those
it.
were the good old days.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't love it?
Nobody doesn't love it.
If we could become calm, maybe? Hey, Vigilance. Awesome.
Yeah, I can see how having like a few copies of Protect is just like the ultimate. I can't really, or I guess the ultimate insurance from awkward draws for blocking.
I don't really understand what's going on anymore, but it seems like we're winning.
I mean, you understand better than I do. Oh, we can go into the other cool stance with worship, I think.
Oh, you're right.
The thing happened, chat.
Was it everything that you dreamed it would be?
I can't tell you how long it's been a dream of mine to see what happens when you enter Divinity as the Watcher in Slay the Spire.
I'm glad that I could be part of you finding out.
It's wonderful.
You only get to find out once, and then for the rest of your life, you just already know how disappointing it is. So, Tech Astronomy, thanks for the 10-month sub as well. Mosho to you as well. Thanks again for the donation too. Probably don't want to rush down right now. Twitch chat always tells me about how the Awakened One gains strength whenever you play powers. Maybe you want to avoid that.
So do you try and avoid playing powers then?
Oh yeah, the Awakened One gains 2 strength for every power that you play. You want to
2 whole
definitely
strength?
keep an eye on that.
Gosh, I will keep an eye on that. Thank you for the warning. But I see you just played a power right then. What do you have
You
to say
must
for
be
yourself?
mistaken.
Oh, okay. I'm still learning these cards, so it's entirely possible. I think one of the most difficult things for me about being in Twitch chat is like I have so many ideas for shit posts, but I'm limited by like how quickly my finger can type them out. And so being able to just like say them one after another directly into your ear while we're playing this game is it's just the ultimate way of doing it. It's fantastic.
I'm glad I can enable that for you.
Of course. It's an honor to be here.
Wow, that sums it up perfectly.
Right? It's great.
So I don't like know if we're dead or what exactly. This doesn't seem very healthy.
Also, your hand is full. That can't be good.
Your hand is full. My hand is full. My hand is full. 4 times? Wait, we're still in phase 1. This is very Watcher. Like, how do I kill it? I just straight up don't know. Maybe with this. Maybe this is the solution.
The Omega!
There it is. The end of your turn, deal 50 damage to all enemies. Also, talk to the hand was probably a really good idea.
Talk to the hand does seem incredible.
It's even a power. Made meditate cost 0. Boom.
Wait, Omega's a power?
It is.
But Jorbs. This is the awakened one we're fighting.
Oh.
We've played directly into its hands. And its weird bird claws.
It's just doing push-ups, isn't it? I never really understood that. Is that why people talk about it getting buff?
Must be between that and the Donu and Deka as the push-up bros. I think that the bosses are just having like a fitness competition up here in the high floors of the spire.
Dead or not dead? Not dead. Oh, 50 damage, look at that. Boom.
Oh my gosh. Just think, it'll take 3 1/3 turns for it to heal that back up. And in that time, we'll cast Omega again.
Oh, it stays in play. You don't have to cast it again.
Oh, okay, you know what? I've actually come back... You know what? I've come back around to thinking this card is pretty good. I interpret it as being kind of like extremely powerful colorless card, the Bong. That was a one-time deal.
Extremely powerful. Is that its like business card?
Oh, sorry. I had to put hashtag sponsored content. Extremely powerful card, the Bomb. For legal reasons. Yeah, of course. My bad. That's considerably better than I thought. If it's just 50 a turn every turn. And now it makes more sense why it's a power.
Yeah. Three. One of these. Don't need those. Alright, I think we did it. We can play powers now. Probably makes the deck an awful lot better.
Yeah.
Keep a talk to the hand, keep a wave of the hand maybe, so we can weaken it as well.
Have you ever thought about making your bot that anybody can set up commands for? Have you ever thought about trying to like make it distributable so that streamers can just like have this, because I think it really leads to just like the perfect melting pot of Twitch chat creativity. I think it's a beautiful thing. I don't think I've ever told you how much I love this bot, how great it is.
I don't believe a word that you're saying.
It's okay. I think you're thinking of me as like somebody who's a streamer and not somebody who's a shitposter. And if there's one thing I'd like to dispel during my time here,
I understand.
I mean, I would like to ideally raise awareness of trans rights and charity, but also I'm a shitposter. Those are kind of like the two messages that I'm here for tonight. And also, buy the bomb. It's great. 3 messages.
Thank you for your 3 messages. Those were 3 messages from Jessica, hashtag sponsored, for legal reasons. It's like, I mean, there are people who have access to the code, but the amount of work you have to do to make something like that actually distributable, like fixing bugs and things. When the bug happens to me, I'm just like, oh yeah, the bug happened again. And then I like unplug my house from the internet and fix it. Well, when it happens to somebody else, they'd be like, why is your program so shit? You know?
Right. That makes perfect sense.
I think we survived the boss fights. I've gotta say, having someone to talk shit with while I play the Watcher makes the Watcher a lot more enjoyable. There's quite a lot of time in here for talking shit, I feel.
Yeah, it's I can see that.
Ooh.
I think there's a chance that we're setting world records for speedrunning here. Don't look now, but I think we're well on our way.
Coming in at slightly above 2 hours. Slightly
is that all?
2.5 hours.
All I know is that it was like very bright and sunny outside, and now it is pitch black. Which doesn't mean that much, but it feels more meaningful than it really is.
Blackout over my windows, so I never see the sun. Or outside, for that matter. What is that? Ambrosia. Enter divinity stats. That is a good potion. Cannot afford anything at the store. Bit too expensive for my tastes. Are you a joke to me? It's harder to get the... Like, talking to Twitch chat is cool, but the whole, like, you have to type and I have to read thing is a little bit of a downer sometimes compared to having somebody actually here.
Right. I think one of the most, like, every time this happens to me, and it happens exceedingly often, it makes me just, like, question my brain and how well it functions. It's like when somebody says something, like you say something kind of as a joke, and then there's a little bit of a chat lag, and like 5 seconds later, like 2 people respond to it, and you have no clue what they're responding to. And so you have to like work out from context clues what you had just finished saying.
Absolutely no idea. Very
absolutely no, of course not. Professional streamer Jorbs would never be familiar with that, but yeah, a mere peasant like I happens all the time.
I think the power potion was worth it there to try to keep our buffer charge, which I failed to do. That's awkward. Thought I had succeeded. Use the other potion. Only 7 health.
Would the other potion even save it?
Weak potion on this so that I could talk to the Handit and then hit it with Strike. Would give us enough block to save the buffer, but then would take 14, of course.
Right.
I think our health is
important. It's only a matter of 7 health? Or am I not... Oh. Okay, it's a matter of more than 7 health, I guess.
Actually, I can No, I can't tantrum now. I think it was still just 7 health. But also I got Talk to the Hand on the enemy, so this turn we do have
Right.
Talk to the Hand. Which seems
I was kind of
pretty good for
hoping the way
turn.
this fight would play out would be like go into Wrath on turn 1 and just wipe the spear from the face of the planet kind of a thing.
Enter divinity, die next turn.
Oh my god, that's sick. That's crazy.
Wait. So we have no
Divinity-
card draw, right? Hmm.
Divinity is like 3 energy and triple your damage, is that right?
Yeah. So this is going to be 15 times 5. That's only 75 total, and this would deal 36 AoE. It's not enough, actually.
And those are our only attacks. right?
Although this brings back Weed. Weaves another 12. We still don't have it. Sure, we still don't have it.
I think Yoplate has just summed up my current approach to playing this game. Don't do the math, believe in yourself.
Believing
I think
in
that
yourself
is
is
just
important.
beautiful.
Believing
Yeah,
in yourself
believing in
also
yourself is far more important than math.
makes you feel a lot less bad when you die because you did the math wrong. So,
Also, Bezo has an incredible question. Does orange pellets remove the death trigger?
does not.
Oh.
Unfortunately,
I was willing to go down with a ship to try it, Bezo. Crafty old Steve already knows about it.
Already tried that. It took a while for the doves to... Like, you could remove it with orange pellets, you could use an artifact charge, you could stop it with intangible, because it was coded to just deal your max HP damage to you, so intangible would
Nice.
just stop it.
Right.
But at this point, I think the golden age of blasphemy and then not dying at the end of the turn is over, unfortunately. Like
I wish I had gotten to live in the golden age of blasphemy.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like the gold rush and whatever other good things have happened in history. Honestly, I think we actually dodged quite a few things that we didn't really want anything to do with. If you look at
Yeah.
history, but oh, rushdown makes something cost. Oh, what? Omniscience.
Perfect.
You haven't seen Omniscience yet, although it's in our discard pile, so you probably won't again. I meant to turn with that. Hey. Oh, it doesn't matter. Just casually blocked for 89
Dang, our
as
powers are
usual.
just too good. We think that we're having like a close call, and it's like, nope, not at all.
Spirit Shield. It's a fun card. Gain 3 block for each card in your hand.
Oh, that is a very cool card.
Very strong with Pyramid. Very strong with Retain things.
Can we do, does Blasphemy into Vault work? Like, and not kill you?
Would you like the end of the run to be us finding that out?
Science is important, right?
Science is important. It does kill you, though.
Okay, okay.
I respect your hustle, but there is no way. There is no way to make
Twitch chat,
this
I'm trying
work.
my best here. There's only so much I can do.
Crawfish! Thanks very much for that Twitch Prime. Hungbomu show to you too. Ooh, there you go. Choose a card in your draw pile. Play the chosen card twice and exhaust it.
Oh, that's
Fuck!
sick.
No, 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 no! Oh shit! I have lesson learned. It works though. Doubles. Good.
I was gonna say, you know, as we reached the end of the fight, I was like, well, we gotta get lesson learned. And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna put that on him. And then you did it.
So we upgraded Establishment, which makes it innate. Establishment's the one that makes our retain cards cost less every time they're in our hands. Just take another effect, I think.
Is Protect the kind of card you just like, whenever you're offered it, you pretty much just kind of take it?
Seems like a reasonable strat. I don't particularly see anything wrong with
Right,
that approach.
yeah. Like I feel like there's a couple cards like the Shrug It Offs of the world where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a Shrug It Off. It's going in my deck now.
The Exos. So I actually bottled a Volt, and then I drew the other one as well. Go figure.
Yeah, nice bottled bolts.
I wonder if we keep the buffer stack if I play Volt right now. Whenever you
no
play
idea.
a card, take 2 damage. I think we don't. Pretty sure we don't, unfortunately. Yeah, it would have dealt us 2.
So, in your opinion, can you consider this a real win if you don't use Lesson Learned to finish the heart off?
I already exhausted it, Jessica.
I was like one word into this sentence when you got me.
Unlucky. Maybe
Unlucky.
the answer is no. Maybe the answer is no. But this is where we are now, unfortunately.
But we still have Dead Branch, so there's hope.
I don't think Dead Branch will ever create it because it's one of those meta upgrade cards.
Oh, you're right. That makes sense.
I thought I upgraded Establishment. Did I not put it in play? Establishment. Whenever a card is retained, lower its cost by 1. Didn't I retain that? I guess I just drew this many cards this turn? How?
It might have been a Hourglass turn?
Maybe. I guess so. Sort of looks like
Or
it.
Pocket
huh?
Watch turn, I mean, rather?
Yeah, I knew what you meant. It's funny, you definitely said the wrong thing, and I definitely knew exactly what you meant. The sounds
Something
of
about playing cards called
time.
Miracles in hopes that Dead Branch gets us something just feels so appropriate.
That was good, right? That was good. The miracle,
Seemed
another
decent, yeah.
defense. So now we're
Is Flying
calm.
Sleeves that's an attack card? Never mind.
We got rid of the debuffs. We have fasting for +3 strength and +3 dex forever.
Now we're just one Omega away from cruising through the rest of the fight.
Absolutely. We need to talk to the hand, I think is what we need. Not an eruption, probably. Although Rushdown's in play, and we have Meditate.
I wonder if... So this is still early access for this character, or still beta for this character.
Correct.
I wonder if the reason the eruption sound effect is, like, so jarring is because they're currently trying to, like, obtain the copyrights for Van Halen's Eruption to play when you cast Eruption. That's gonna be what I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'm gonna believe that now.
I support you believing whatever it is that is important for you to believe.
It is pretty important for me.
The Kunai proc, play this guy, play this guy. What do I want next turn? Probably a Volt is a good idea.
Is it attacking next turn, or should we...
It is not attacking next turn.
Okay.
Oh, more Volts. Here's talk to the hand. This is some high-quality verbal shitposting. I love it. Artisanal shitpost of the month. They don't
I think
have
it's of the mouth, but that could be
of the mouth.
either way.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that.
Right.
They don't have Yelp reviews for streams yet, right? But they should.
I think I saw at some point there's a website where people, like, it's basically Yelp for streams.
All right.
But I don't think anybody actually uses it, which kind of ruins the point of having a Yelp-like service.
I don't know about that. Could still have some value.
I suppose it could have some value.
What does this do? When retained, lowers cost by 1. Seems alright. Oh, no, we're fine. Probably. 48 incoming. As long as I don't accidentally end a turn in Wrath, I feel like I probably got this covered. Gain 26 block for ending the turn in Calm at the moment. Big number.
That is a considerable number.
Perseverance is another fun one that we haven't seen yet. We retain it, and when we retain it, it blocks for more for the rest of the combat.
Oh, that is neat.
I've seen some time meter wins that are about like having 2 perseverances. And just playing one of them every turn sort of thing. 5 times 15. Are you sure? You want to talk about this? This is that Volt thing that I talked about where Volt can
This
be
was a
super
good turn
good
to
with
draw Vault.
Ooh, we can no, we can't meditate ending turn. Now the protects cost 1 less.
Oh, right.
Probably want to get Study in play. Flying Sleeves actually procs Talk to the Hand twice. It's every time that you hit it for damage. Procs an additional time.
I'm really
That's
glad that we got a dead branch like 45 floors in, because now that we're kind of, reaching the end of, it's just like a whirlwind tour of every card that we haven't seen through card select screens.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. I'm really glad you picked this seed for our run to pre-record your stream today.
Yeah, thanks to my mods for that. My mods have for a long time been complicit in me cheating at the game by pre-selecting my seeds. Every single one of them has known the entire time has been part of the lie. So, thank you to all of you.
Oh yeah, I guess we did have Tori for those multi-attacks. But blocking's better anyways.
Oh, yeah, we did. Divinity? Divinity's so, like, it only hits for 69. Like, I mean, jokes aside, right? Like, it's not even that much.
It only hits for 69. Yep, and Twitch chat goes wild. Huge success. Dude, I gotta get in on this, man. I'm getting left behind here. Can't be left out with my friends in Twitch chat. I'm gonna say it twice, so I'm really not left out.
Alright, this has been a Watcher run.
Has it ever?
Now that you know what Watcher is all about, are you going to become the chief moderator for a Watcher-centric forum?
You really subverted my expectations with that comment.
Oh, please no. Not Game of
yeah.
Thrones. That's, There are a lot of
I don't
people
know,
who are
I
still
actually-
reeling from that, Jessica.
My apologies. I knew not what I said. I'm actually, I don't know. I think now that I've seen it, I'll definitely play it when I stream this game. Like, I'll just put it in the rotation. Plus, it's nice that, like, I'm pretty sure I'm correct in saying you have to start from Ascension 0 with a new character, right? So I can, like, hopefully cruise through easy content and feel great about myself while playing this game.
Sure, I'll let you
Way
think
to
that
get
you have to
exactly the right
start.
amount of block, by the way. That's perfect.
I'll let you think that you have to start at Ascension 0 with a new character if you want. That's fine.
Well, I'm no stranger to modding the game files for a variety of reasons. I actually don't have a follow-up. I was just gonna say I know how to do it, but I'm not
2
going to.
hours! 51 minutes and 45 seconds.
And that's world record! Oh my gosh.
World record
I
pace,
can't believe
that's
it.
for sure.
I can't believe it. World record watcher coaching charity stream time. Also, what a screen. I'm really feeling the impact of this victory.
Was it worth your 3 hours?
Of course it was. Of course it was.
Oof. I feel like we did not take damage for the last, what?
Is
2.5
over
hours, I think.
Is that score pretty good? Isn't over... I forget what the cutoff point for a good score is.
My high scores are
Also-
like 3,600.
Oh. Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of my scores. My apologies.
Okay. Hmm.
Oh, I didn't bring a sandwich to the stream. Was I supposed to? That's my apologies.
My cat is so cute. I have another 7 hours of streaming to do.
You sure do. You're doing it for a great cause, and we commend you for it.
Okay. So I'm gonna stretch my legs again. I can play some highlights. Jessica, thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. It was fantastic being here. I think this cause is incredible. Maybe I'm a little biased because I'm transgender, but regardless, I think it's incredible.
I also think it's an incredible cause.
And thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I am honored to have been a part of it, and really appreciate everybody who donated, everybody who has said kind words and done kind things, and trans rights. And I think that pretty much wraps it up. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jessica. I will hide the Discord window. Oh, it's like hidden already accidentally. That's interesting. Oh, Twitch chat. We have raised over $6,000 for the trans Lifeline so far today, and we're like barely over halfway done. What did I say I'd do for $10,000? I have to remember what I've promised people. Lots of coaching runs. Jorbs live streams digging a hole to plant a tree. Setting up a live stream seems like a lot of work. So far for this stream, we have a Jorbs Pride emote coming. I have played my mod character already. I have done I've done 2 alternate language Spire runs and owe you another 3. We've already raised enough money for those. We've got hopefully like an hour, 30 minutes to an hour maybe, of visual novels. I have admitted that Dig is a good relic. I have committed to making some Coaches the Spire content where I work through Spire runs with viewers, and that will go up on YouTube. And we have raised over $6,000 for the trans Lifeline, which is, you know, super incredible. The stream is not over. We've got another 7 hours left. We will play at least another 3 runs of Spire and then see what else is happening. I wonder if I will still be able to stream Slay the Spire from jail, Jessica. Alright, I need to stretch my legs and grab a glass of water and stuff. I have streamed for 9 hours already and have some more ahead of me. So I'm going to do that. I'll play you some highlights while I'm gone, and I will be back in 5 minutes or so.